Okay, and we're live. Thanks for
Oh, we're live.
yeah, we're live now. Thanks everyone who's either watching this live or joining us afterwards and watching the recording. I'm super excited because today we have someone I've looked up to photographically for a very long time, and
Me
yeah,
too.
Oh, it has to be Sarah, right? It's Sarah.
well,
No, it's Elf. It's
the
Elf.
funny thing is both of those statements could be true. So
Ew, stop.
um, So, I, I'm honored to have a live Elf here with us on the critique. So,
Yay.
Elf, why don't you
Oh,
give us a quick background of yourself and kind of your photography, like how long you've been shooting, kind of what style you like to shoot, and that kind of stuff.
actually, funny thing is, actually, I'm starting off as a cosplayer back in 2005, and then I started shooting 2009 is because back then there's no such thing as like photo shoots and stuff, and I thought me as a cosplayer,
Mm.
I thought we already create all this costume and nobody took photo of this. So what? Let's use photography as as a mean of like artistic to improve our artistic view and stuff. And there you go. And then finally, in 2015, I moved to America, and then now here I am.
Oh, dang. That's awesome.
Awesome. I didn't know it was that recent that you moved. That's awesome, though.
Me
Yeah,
either.
yeah.
Dang.
I just moved 3 years ago, I guess. Yeah, sort of.
Wow.
Uh, then, then, out of curiosity, culturally, in terms of how we approach cosplay and cosplay photography here
Mm-hmm.
in the U.S. versus everywhere else, was it kind of like a shock to you how different
Oh
it was,
yeah,
or is it more?
that's a great question because actually it's really different, honestly. How to do like the photo shoot and the interaction between photographer and cosplayer is so different because usually back in Asia or like at least in Southeast Asia, usually the cosplayer is the one that contact the photographer. Like for example,
Oh.
like for example, usually the cosplayer already has this idea, the whole concept, and like brainstorm and stuff, and then they gotta pick the photographer that suits that idea, and then they're gonna work together for that. Mhm.
Do you prefer kind of the approach in the U.S., or is it more just like they're different things and not one's better than the other to you?
Uh, hmm. Like it's so different. I kind of prefer the agent one because I want the result to be as the idea to be as concrete as possible, and then to be like not just a photograph but a story to tell to everyone else, not just like a straight go to a photo shoot and then suddenly what are we gonna shoot? Oh, we're gonna just maybe just shoot like this or maybe like that.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I feel like I would do so poorly in that environment because I'm really bad at setting things up beforehand. I usually like to walk into a shoot and go like, let's figure this out, I guess.
It is pretty hard though, like to plan everything because both party needs to know what's up, like know like the series and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's kind of
Mhm.
harder.
It's
cool.
interesting that you bring that up because, like, something that I like to emphasize on a lot is I think people forget, like, cosplay and photography is a very collaborative thing. Like, it's something that you're working on together.
Yeah.
And, like, even though I want the photographer to have a lot of free reign when I shoot with them, I still like collaboratively want to bounce ideas off with them. Like I don't want it to just be like me standing there and like they take my picture and then like they deliver the photos and like that's it. Like
Mhm.
I think it it is a lot more than that and people forget that. So I think it's awesome that you brought that up as a topic tonight.
Mhm.
And it shows in your photos. So
Oh, because like I think cosplay photography is not just shooting the person, but you're also
Mhm.
shooting a character, and behind the character there's a world that you
Right.
can capture if you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Well, thanks for that insight. And without, I think, further ado, let's jump right into the photos. So,
Let's go.
um, what I will say is, we did get more photos this time around than we're gonna be able to go through. So, if you submitted in like the last couple of days, I'm sorry your photo didn't make it into this one.
Oh.
Um, That said, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to use that photo in a critique. Those photos will just carry over to the next critique, which we already have scheduled for it was it May 10th? What was it? Hold on, I'm gonna look this up so I'm not telling you guys
No, it's May
anything
10th.
wrong.
It's May 10th.
Oh, cool. I was actually
Yeah.
remembering it right. Awesome. So yeah, next critique is on May 10th. So I will announce who will be the guest on for that at the end of the critique. But if you want to submit anything just while you're thinking about it here, it's going to be submissions.vontography.com. I'll post that link in the chat for you guys to use if you want to put anything. And what I always say is we love it when you guys talk in the chat while we're going. So feel free to give like your own thoughts on the photos as we're going through them. We love to read that, or just general commentary. So we will all be keeping an eye on that. So yeah.
Yes, I live for this chat, so let's keep it live.
Let's jump into that first photo from Alan Lindsay, or Nocturnal Radiance Photography. And Sarah, why don't you take us off on this one?
Actually, I was like, I want to start this one. I like this one a lot. So something that really caught my eye immediately was like, I think the location for this shot is really, really cool. I haven't played Final Fantasy 15 at all yet. I know, shame me, whatever. But I know that this character does a lot of mechanical fixes with their car, Sydney, right? And I just think I've never seen her shot in this kind of environment before. Usually people will be like at like working with actual cars or at the station. So it's cool to see this like larger than life like mechanical object, which I think really lends itself well to the Final Fantasy universe. I also think the lighting is really, really nice. It's really soft. I'm a sucker for natural light, and I think it's hitting her face really nicely. Something that I think could, and this is my personal opinion because I'm going to start talking about like crop and stuff, but for me, I think there's a little, just like a hair bit too much on the top. I think I would have cropped in like a little bit more. But other than that, I think it's a very solid shot.
Yeah, I was totally agree. I think the crop is also probably the area that I kind of feel is the one of the major weaknesses of this shot. Just because I feel like you maybe lose a little bit of scale on the thing that she's working on, and then kind of just where she is in the frame feels just a little bit off.
Mm-hmm. A little bit.
I think the other thing with this crop is the way that the light is hitting on that like piece of metal that's right above her head kind of makes this bright white triangle. And my eyes end up kind of jumping up to that, and like I think I just wish that weren't there.
Or it could have been toned down maybe a little bit. Yeah.
The which one again? The one on the right?
There's right above her head. There's that like that piece of sheet metal that's much brighter than everything else, and that's kind of what my eye ends up getting drawn up there.
I see. I think for those it can be either I feel like either like burn it a bit, or you can actually just go ham and then just like add some. Or if it's me, I'm probably just gonna add like little what you call that, little light thingy, not some sort of like flare-ish.
Oh, like a sun glare.
Yeah.
Like a glare, but make it like not too weird kind of thing. Also, I noticed that there's a little lens flare on the bottom left.
Yeah,
I didn't know if that was like a discolor spot or if that was a sun flare.
I think that is a flare. It's kind of an odd one.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, only because I don't see it anywhere else.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's either that or you can, or if you don't want it, you can easily just just recolor the thing.
Yeah, that one wouldn't be hard to remove. I don't think it bothers me all that much.
No,
I think for me, why it bothers me is that is because I'm a photographer and I'm like, is that a sun flare? I don't know. I think like someone looking at it who's not like thinking about it as like, oh, is that flare? Like if they're not
Agreed.
in that mindset, I don't think it ends up
Mm.
No,
being a
it's like a
thing.
very technical photographer thing. Like I
Yeah.
think from any other standpoint, again, making assumptions here, it's just kind of like, oh, it's a rusty metal piece. It's probably just discoloration. So it's nothing I would fret over too much, probably.
Mm.
Oh, something I do want to mention. We have this problem every single time, but the way you see your photo on the stream is not color accurate to what you submitted.
Yeah.
Just want to mention that.
We are seeing it in the correct color.
Yeah.
But just something with the stream. I think it has to do with the way Facebook handles their streams.
I mean, everyone knows Facebook impressions sucks, so
Yeah,
you know.
like
Yeah.
yeah. I can't confirm that, but I feel like when I stream to Twitch, that seems to not be an issue. So just a warning to people. Yeah, that's a good call on the reminder there, Sarah.
Yeah, because the color difference from this one from what I'm looking at versus on Facebook is immense. So I was like, okay, I want to bring this up before we forget. And someone's like, my photo doesn't look like that.
Yeah, I think something I want to try and do for the next couple of shoots, and people that are listening, I'd love to hear your opinions on this to see if this is a thing. Is upload a version of a photo so that people in chat can see the a high quality version of this photo instead of the streamed version, so that way they can like judge along with us a little bit better. I think the only thing that's maybe a problem there is people get a little weirded out about the idea that their photo is going to be like up on high res on the internet. So there's some kinks to work out with that, but I'd love to hear like people's opinions to see if they'd be okay with that idea or not.
Yeah, we know this is a continuing problem, so.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next shot. This one is going to be from Cass or Star Queen Studios. And Alf, why don't you start us off on this guy?
It's well, the color is interesting. That's the first thing that I noticed. The color is pretty interesting. It's really a brave kind of move to use a unnatural color. That's not a bad thing. It's just a really unique touch. And then what we have here, and everything looks okay. You can definitely help with adding like little fill, especially for her eyes because her eyes so dark. I think that's something I noticed. Light for me is a tiny bit too harsh. I mean, but that's just me. And yeah, I think that's that for me.
Yeah, I enjoy the colors in this shot as well. I think this shot without this coloration is much weaker. This is
The thing is, I don't know the series, so
yeah,
so
I don't know the series as well. This is time for the
No.
this is time for your monthly Dutch
Stop.
angle report from Vontography. Man, it's not super bothering me here, but I continue to go on the campaign of Dutch angle your shot when it needs to be Dutch angled. Don't Dutch angle your shot if you feel like if you're taking this photo straight on and you're going, this isn't very creative, and then you're like, but this is really creative. And this is just something I repeat, like I swear, like every time I do this. So this isn't so much of an indictment of this photo or this photographer. So sorry that Cass, you're getting the brunt of this. But I would really take the time when you're in these situations to go, does this, why am I turning my camera sideways? Because right now in this shot, everything feels like it's leaning to me. I don't feel like it adds to the shot. Like, Dutch angles inherently aren't bad. They aren't like an evil thing. You can do cool things with Dutch angles if the framing calls for it. But I think this shot, um, straight on with your horizontal lines, straight up and down, or your vertical lines straight up and down. I think that shot's just as strong as this, and then I don't
Mhm.
also feel like she's leaning.
I think it's gonna work if the hand gesture or the pose will be more like also like more open rather than just like
Yeah, no,
to the
like
side. I think.
totally agree. Like it's one of those things where it's like I think the Dutch angle works when you have the elements that make it work. Like,
Yeah, like we're
Mhm.
not saying Dutch angle is bad, even
yeah,
though we literally shit on it every time. But
maybe
it's
a
kind of
little
like
bit.
when stop. But like when the model is like working with the Dutch angle that you're trying to do, or the angle, whatever angle that you're trying to get in your photo, it just provides for a much more dynamic shot. Like I personally think Dutch angle looks really good when it adds like a sense of like dynamic movement to the photo.
Hmm.
But right now, like the background almost has more movement than the actual model, because I know the model is just standing there, but the background is like moving, like falling over.
It's
Um,
funny. Cass
what?
commented and said, "Fun fact: I shot this while wearing a full suit of armor, so I might have just been falling over."
Okay,
Lol.
that makes sense. Eh. Very good job though, taking
Yeah,
photo
yeah, man.
with on armor.
It probably means
I know what that's like. It's not
Yeah.
fun.
very little mobility, and
Yeah,
yeah. Any of you guys have any final thoughts on this one before we move on to the next?
I
All
don't think
right.
so.
Cool. So we're gonna move on to this next shot from Fluffy Fox Photography. She is a frequent submitter. I think she's submitted a shot to like most
Most of
every
them.
shoot. Um, I think so. I assume this is the same cosplayer. That a shot that she submitted in a previous critique, of the same cosplay as well. And I think I like this shot a fair amount more than the previous one that she submitted. This one, um, I really enjoy the crop on it. I also really enjoy the expression on the cosplayer. Like, her eyes are saying a lot in this shot to me. Like, they have a certain intensity to them. That
Feels real.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
She's ready to kill me.
yeah. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's awesome because, man, sometimes cosplayers, no offense to cosplayers, aren't really good at getting into the character all that much.
It's hard to no, it's hard to
And
get ugly but look good on camera.
Oh
yeah,
my gosh, yeah, it's really hard.
Yeah,
yeah. So
it's really
that's
hard.
once again not trying to call out cosplayers there because I'm really not. Um,
Uh,
so the expression here is doing a lot to sell this shot for me. Um,
mm-hmm.
so some areas where I think the shot could be improved just a little bit. I wish her spear was just a little bit higher in this shot, so
Hmm.
you getting a bit, kind of filling a bit of that lower left negative space. Like, I think I know it's a spear because I know San and I know what the character is.
Yeah.
I think if you don't know it, it's harder to read it that way. And I
Mm-hmm.
think if it's up a little bit higher and maybe you get like a little bit more of her left arm in the shot, it would kind of read a little bit smoother.
Yeah, I
I
think
agree.
it's either more spear or not at all.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's just not enough context of it really
I
for us to know what it is.
I think I would want more spear because I feel like it goes well with the look she has in her eyes. So
Yeah.
Yep.
go ahead, Sarah.
There's like just like one small retouching thing. I think there's like a bruise on her arm. I wish that was taken out. I don't think it's body paint. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I was wondering that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But regardless, I wish that was taken out because it for some reason it was like kind of the first thing I saw. I also because it's like almost in the middle of the picture, so my eye went straight to that mark on her arm. So
Yeah.
I think taking that out would have been
for
good.
whatever reason, that mark is very loud in this photo, and
Yeah.
I think it's because it's the only bruise on the
Yeah.
photo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she looks actually like for San fairly clean, and then
Very clean.
then you get to this one bruise, and you're just like, I'm assuming it's a bruise as well, and you're just like, whoa, okay. So
But I really like the colors though in this photo.
Usually for this kind of problem or like problem for the bruise, usually when I'm not sure if it's actually part of the costume or not, usually I ask straight to the cosplayer, like, do you think it's actually part of your costume or should I just make it disappear?
yeah,
Because sometimes it happens that like some character, for example, some character has like a eye bags, and I was like, I'll make this disappear then. But the cosplayer said, no, it's just part of the costume. I'm like, oh no. So, yeah.
Oh no.
that's kind of funny. Yeah.
So you need to
You're
ask.
too good.
Yeah, yeah.
So
When in doubt, ask. Most cosplayers aren't going to be put off by that. Maybe you'd run into like the one that would be bothered, but I think 99% of cosplayers would appreciate that you asked.
I know I would appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because then I'll get something back and I'm like, why didn't you remove this? Or why didn't you ask me?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I know that feels. Yep.
Yeah, I think I know, Sarah. I think you mentioned that you liked the color toning on this. I also enjoy the color toning. I would maybe just take it a little bit further. Like
I think because it can be taken a bit further. Because it's on, you know?
Yeah, I think the colors are there. Like it's got a nice palette to be pushed. So I think you could push it more.
And I think during the shoot, the photographer can also add more a reflector, because the thing that I noticed also on the hair, especially, there's a lot of noises, and I assume because during the post process, they raise the shadows for like really high, so I can see a lot of like artifacts in here and there. That's just like a minor thing. That's more like a technical thing, not yeah. But everything else, the photo already tells me a lot of stories based on the composition, the eyes, and lighting and stuff. But that's just like a matter of thing.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. I would also say like I think that's probably another like photographer nitpick because man, that posted to Facebook, you mean
Facebook's gonna destroy it anyway. It's fine.
Yeah. Cool. Any final thoughts on this one before we move on to the next shot?
I'm good.
Cool. This next one is from David Roth. Sarah, mind jumping in on this one?
Yeah. Okay, so when I first saw this shot, I was like, I'm always impressed by people who can shoot at night, have it look good, and not wait. Let me. This is a good example where I think the noise works. It's still so smooth though. I'm just like, how? How? I don't understand. Again, I like the overall like mood that this photo gives off. Whatever color grading that they did on it, it fits. I mean, I think it fits all. Again, I haven't played Final Fantasy 15. There's so much Final Fantasy 15 so far.
That's all right. Actually, I haven't played it either, so you're not alone.
Okay, good. Well, you've shot so much of it. Anyway,
I've beaten it, so I can be the voice of. Although I haven't played anything that they've added to the game since like they've done like a bajillion updates. So
that's okay. This is just like a nice shot of Noctis. It's all good. Whatever. But But I don't know. I feel like just the colors and like the mood and the setting just like fits his character really, really well. And I don't know. I really dig the feel of this photo a lot. In terms of things that could be worse, I don't think I don't really have any initial like feedback right away. Because I do like the shot a lot. um, yeah, I don't really have any. I really don't have any feedback actually. So I'm just gonna like let the other two go, and then I can feed off them. I don't know. I really like it.
So
So
I think the thing that to me is and this is hard considering it is a night shot, but the shot does feel bit softer than I would like. Kind of especially when you're zooming in, I feel like it's just a bit too um, blurry. Like it doesn't really look like the focus was landed on the eyes or the hair. So I was just kind of maybe like it's just a bit blurry. With that said, viewing it zoomed out still looks pretty darn good.
oh, the focus is on the gloves.
Okay.
I can,
Yeah,
like somewhere around there.
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Still
would
super
like
nice,
to
though.
see the color toning played with a bit more. I don't think it's necessarily bad by any means with this shot. The skin tones, like for me, like on like the lower cheek, I think are fine, but like kind of the nose and the kind of like right under the eye, the color's getting really purple. And I
Mm,
think just the kind of the consistency of that color is just it gets a bit too purple and cold for me and just makes
Mm.
Noctis look a little bit dead. I'd like to see that skin tone kind of evened out a bit more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially with the hands because it feels like the hands is really blue.
Yeah, the top of
Um,
the arm there, the forearm is just like
oh yeah.
super blue.
sometimes photographer like edit like to focus on the face, but they forgot like other parts of the body, the hands and stuff. So yeah, I think if they can balance the blue to be more purple-ish, like
Mm-hmm.
the face, probably gonna be better. I think
It's kind of more balanced.
more balance, yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I like that they shot it like during the magic hour, which is now we have like a blue sky rather than just black. So
Yeah,
that's a good
Yeah,
call.
that is
yeah.
a good call.
It it's a very nice shot. I like. I will say that most of the things that I was saying are a bit nitpicky.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, the only thing I was gonna bring up was potentially going with the color grading like a little bit more, but like, I mean, that doesn't like make or break anything. Also,
I
I'm living for the bokeh in the background.
I think to me, because it's at this time of night, um, I think you can do some really cool things with the color grading. Um,
hmm
I would like to see the color of the bokeh played with to kind of play into the background a little bit more. I think that would be super neat.
Oh, you know who this person should look at for color grading inspiration is this guy named I think it's like David Wolfel or something. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I do not.
Uh,
Okay, his stuff is like the way he color grades, especially like night photos. Oh, Brandon Wolfel. I'm sorry, Brandon Wolfel. Um, he is just like king of like color grading night photos with like brightly lit bokeh in the background. I think that's why I like this shot so much because I really like this guy's work, and this photo reminds me of that. So if they feel like going back and playing around with colors a little bit more and pushing it just a hair bit further, Brandon Wolfel is your dude because his stuff is dank.
I'll have to check him out because I had never heard about him.
He's like, he reminds me of Mallow's work. Like, he takes colors to places that I'm like, how did you do that? I don't understand.
Any final thoughts on this guy before we move on?
No.
Cool. Well, then move on to the next shot, which is from Eddie Lai or White Specs Photography.
Hey!
Hey!
He was here.
Hey?
Is he still
Eddie?
here?
I don't see him.
Eddie?
Eddie.
Maybe if we say his name enough, it'll work.
Is that White Specs Photography?
Elf, why don't you jump right into this guy for us?
So I like that you start with me because is it because it's fate or something like that?
I
It's
mean,
because it's fake,
I mean, I mean, neither Sarah or I know
You
shit
don't want
about
us critiquing
fate, so this is a good call.
Oh my god, we finally have a fate savvy person. Yes.
Hey.
The last few times we've been talking about fate, we've had like 3 people on that don't know anything about fate, and we're just like,
Yeah.
Oh no.
We suck, I'm sorry.
Hold on.
oh my god, I think
No,
I have
it's-
another fate photo that you're starting off with later too. Oh my god, I didn't plan this.
Right. So yeah, it's really Eddie type of work based on the lights and stuff. So it's like the first time I see the photo, even though without the watermark, I can tell that this is his work because he has this really specific lights and cropping and stuff. So kudos for that because I can tell that this is work. Um, well, the thing is, for this one, probably gonna something similar with the Dutch angle thingy. Not really bothering me, but it probably can be a bit more like a bit more not too diagonal for me at least. And then I feel like it's kind of for me it's kind of a bit too close. I think because
I want it to be zoomed out just the tiniest bit.
Yeah.
yeah
It's a little
because,
too tight.
because like I can tell the cosplayer has a really interesting pose over there, and plus the location is also looks pretty nice too. So I would like to see a bit more of the location and stuff. So probably that's my only my main critic from the photo. Anything else is basically just like the little nitpicky thing. But overall, I think it's nice. It's just too much, just a little bit for me.
I think either like he needs to step back like a little bit, or even just have the model just rotate her upper body a little bit more towards the camera, so I can just see more of the front of her dress and like her face.
Mm.
But something I noticed that was kind of odd, I'm not really sure what's going on, but is the background. It's particularly on the bottom right. There's like some weird like blur. I don't know if it's like a blur thing, like being masked in. I'm not really sure, but it's a little messy.
I think there was an attempt at cleaning up the hair.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah, I
it just
think
got a little weird. That's honestly what I was looking at too.
Yeah, it was one of the first things I noticed. I think, unfortunately, with this model, she does have a lot of flyaways, but there is a very clear line of where the wig ends. So I think if you're going to take away a bunch of really bad flyaways, like just take it to the edge. Like, I know you're gonna lose that glow, but right now the glow is kind of hurting this image, in my opinion. Oops, I moved to the next one. My bad. Hang on. Yeah, I just feel like if you're gonna go that far to clean the wig, like go for it. Don't
It looks like it was done in frequency separation too, because like the lines
I can still
get
see
like
the texture.
super sharp there. It feels kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like
Wondering if that
Can I go into nitpicky mode because I feel like I've got a bunch of nitpicky things.
Sure,
wait, I'm still in nitpicky mode.
Sarah's like, bitch, I never left.
I'm just kind of curious, like how the background was cleaned up, because the other thing that like drew my eye was this like weird like white skull mug on the bottom. It looks oddly blurred out, but like nothing else in the background is like oddly blurred out. Eddie, I'm just being hard on you because like you're a good photographer, so laying it on you thick.
that skull thingy probably actually, I don't know if it's intentional or not, but it's actually like really John Alter-ish. But yeah, that's just me.
Yeah, it just looks odd. It's weird that everything
Pro-
else seems naturally blurred out, but then this skull thing has this weird like outer glow thing. I don't know.
mm.
I don't know what's happening. Anyway, yes, Andrew, you can go. I'll stop talking now.
So
Yeah.
it's funny because I feel like Fluffy Fox Photography just like called out a bunch of the nitpicks I was going for, and I'm like, damn it, beat me to it. So nitpick number one, on her elbow there is a
Yep,
hair that's
I see it.
coming off, and normally that would be whatever, but it's getting hit by the rim
Flash.
light, and
Mhm.
it's just glowing now. Nitpick number two, whatever this like white like mug is on the very bottom of the frame, like it just feels
Let's
a
get rid
little
of
out
it.
of place, and
Yeah.
kind of luminosity wise is just a bit too bright compared to everything around it, so my eye ends up going to it. Nitpick number three, I feel like the glass looks too dirty. Like,
Yeah, I was
Just
gonna
hella
say.
dirty.
like
I was gonna say.
Super dirty for some reason.
yeah, I don't know. It feels really weird. Like, I just really would like to see that glass look a lot cleaner, and I don't know why.
I
I don't know why it looks so dirty.
Well, I
mean,
think the
probably.
problem is, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong because I don't use lights, but I think the issue is that we're seeing a lot of these things because there is like that, what do you call it, room light or like the
Yeah.
light in the back. It's catching all of those faults. So if you're going to be using lights, I think, again, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you just need to be more cognizant of those kinds of things because
Yeah.
any kind of like messy thing is going to be caught like 10 times more than in a natural light situation. Um,
That is
I
that
have
is
one more
true.
nitpicky thing
That
because
is true.
Eddie, we've told you this before. I can see your flash in the background on
I
her
think
arm.
I think maybe for that one maybe it's intentional because I like to do that too. But that's just
That
maybe.
actually
Um,
doesn't bother me.
I don't
mm.
like. I don't mind it if it's serving like a purpose, but like for me, it's like it's like I can see it. I know it's there because that's where you placed your flash, but it's not like
Doesn't
I
like
don't
add
know.
anything. You see?
It doesn't add anything for me. For me, it's like, oh, I could have moved down maybe like a little lower so I can't see the flash. So, because I've seen photographers before where like, you can see the flash like in plain sight, and I'm like, come
Mhm.
on, guys, like your flash is there. I can see it.
So
And probably I'm gonna add a little nitpicky too on the glass. Because it's shooting a glass and you can totally see the source of light is like circle-ish. So I'm gonna assume it's a octabox, I think. Uh, usually like shooting like a product kind of thing. Usually it's most people prefer having a square thing. So probably for shooting something like this, probably the reflection's gonna look more like better if you're using more like a strip or a softbox something because it's looks square. Uh, Because right now it's two circles, two bright circles, and yeah, I think that's just a little nitpick for me.
yeah, um, man, this isn't so much a nitpick, but more of a I think this image could be cooler. If instead of Dutch angling it, if her arm was actually raised up higher and then the glass was tilted, like you can tell that like the glass is actually fairly level to her, even though it's Dutch angled because like the wine is
Oh,
sitting flat. I think it would be cool if like the wine was kind of not flat in the glass if it was leaning back. I think it just kind of would make it look a little bit more dynamic.
yeah.
That makes sense. Damn.
I feel like we just went deep on this one.
Okay, bye,
Because it's
Eddie.
because it's fate.
Eddie,
Slap.
don't hate us. Okay, let's move on to this next shot. This
He
one's
ain't even here.
Eddie left.
Man.
Eddie left. We scared him off.
Oh man.
God
No,
damn
this
it.
next shot is from Eric Jaworski. Um, and I get to start this one off. Man, we're just Dutch angling all night tonight. Dutch
Dude,
angle
that
party.
ocean is unreal. Dutch Angle City.
Yeah.
Um, it's funny because like I know this was shot at C2E2. I debated
Oh, really?
shooting at the same spot, but like I was
Wait,
just
this is
like,
C2E2?
yeah, C2E2.
I
That's
was
like
there
that's
too,
Damn.
but really?
yeah, it's Lake Michigan.
Damn.
So the funny thing about C2E2 is that like most of the good spots are like not by the main like center at all. You have to be willing to do a bit of walking. So this
Yeah.
is right behind like if you McCormick Convention Center is like freaking huge. I think it's like one of the biggest convention centers in the U.S. Um,
Mm.
uh, and like you have to go to like the second section of it and then go in the back and then you can go by the lake and get some cool looking photos. But like I chose not to because I'm like I shot up in some like by the same area but in some shade. I was like, oh, that lake looks really good today, but I just didn't want to have to deal with hard light. So I know exactly kind of what the conditions were being fought with in this. Um, and man, this is hard because like I like the shot. I think the lake looks really cool. I'm not a huge fan of the Dutch angle, but man, that should surprise no one at this point. Um, I don't.
How
It's
many times have we said Dutch angle tonight? Like, goddamn, guys.
yeah, man.
That
It's
angle theme today.
it's not. Once again, I don't think there's like an abhorrent one. Like it's not super terrible.
Mm.
Um, but I think it feels a little weird just because of like how strong of a horizon line you have in the shot.
I mean, it's like
Um,
a perfect line.
yeah, well, it's
It's
like Michigan, so
crazy.
like reads pretty much the same as the ocean. Um,
Oh.
uh, and I think for me, what I'd like to see is a bit more of a dynamic pose. Like she's got her trident
Dynamic pose.
up and down and like it's straight up and down and her arms up and it's straight up and down and it's close to her and man if that trident's coming like across her body more and her hands out and
Mm.
it kind of gives more angles to the shot. Like I think that's why the Dutch angle bothers me a bit much because like her body's straight up and down, her arms straight up and down, and trident straight up and down, and yet we have the
Mm-hmm.
angles to the shot. Like if you gave her like more angles in her like pose, I think it would then make the Dutch angle work a little bit better for the photo. um
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. Because I think Dutch angle is making the photo more dynamic, but if the pose isn't dynamic, so it's kind of like clashing things, I think,
yeah.
because the pose itself is not dynamic.
um
Uh,
Go ahead.
yeah, probably with posing too. The thing that I'm gonna ask the photographer will be like, so what are you trying to say with this photo? Like, with that pose, with this kind of hand, what are you trying to tell us? Because first, the cosplayer or the character is looking at us right now with that hand, with this pose like that. So what are you trying to say with us? Because I, I can't really see what's going. What are you trying to say to me? Because it's looking at me right now. So probably that's
Mm.
my question. Um, Plus it's a Dutch angle too, so it's like really a lot of mixed things. Like it's dynamic, but also looking at me, trying to say something, but I can't really tell what's going on. So I think that's for me.
um the other thing for me in this shot that I don't know how you do better given the circumstances and how you wanted to shoot this is the shadows on her face. Um, you're getting that hard sunlight on her. Um, and man, I don't know how you do this better without like getting like a scrim out there for this shot. Um,
Probably a
which
reflector, probably.
yeah, you could do a reflector to help as well. Um, It's hard when
I was
you
gonna
want.
say I'm impressed for even like shooting in this kind of light
Yeah.
because I would at all costs. Like I feel like my photos just look like shit when I shoot in this kind of light.
I mean, when I do that, so what I try to
Ugh.
do if I'm going to have them in hard light is like that. I want their face painted pointed
Hmm.
towards the sunlight because then I think the kind of shadows that you get don't end up being like kind of these weird ones like her left cheek and her right cheek look so different from each other because of how the shadows are falling on them.
Hmm.
Mhm.
If you have her looking directly at the at least in the direction of the sun, you get less weird shadows, and it feels a bit better. That's personally what I would do, but also I just avoid this. So like this is a hard one to deal with. So I get it.
Yeah, props for you for even shooting in this light. To be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah.
Yeah, normally when I'm shooting hard sunlight, I'm pretty much always like, and I have no other options. I'm like, I'm just gonna backlight this. And
Honestly.
obviously that wasn't a choice here because you wanted to get the lake in the background and the view going the other direction would not have been a good view.
Hmm. Probably I have like a one comment and also like a question actually for everyone that is listening right now. It's actually for the piercing on the nose. Um, like usually for me, I'm gonna take off the piercing because it's not part of costume and stuff.
Hmm.
But I know that people over here they keep that on there. But for me, like on my point of view, when I'm shooting a cosplay, I'm totally gonna remove everything that is you. I just want to see the character,
Hmm.
but not you at all. So usually I'm just gonna cut that thing off.
Yeah.
So it'll be the character. But that's just me. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
No,
How about you guys?
that's funny. Andrew and I have talked about this before, actually.
extensively, I
Huh?
feel.
Um, I feel like I agree with you, Alf. I think if the body modification is removable, I usually more often than not will ask the person I
Uh,
can if they can remove it. Of course, unless it's like a new piercing, I understand that they can't take it out because it'll close up or whatever, and I'll just be like, okay, I'm gonna just Photoshop it out.
yeah, Photoshop.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I meant
But
Photoshop.
it is a touchy subject because I have asked people before, and it does get uncomfortable sometimes. I think they're almost offended that you're asking that, but it's like
Oh
it
no.
aesthetically draws away.
What I meant is with Photoshop, but not like checking off during the shoot.
I think even with
Mhm.
Photoshop, because like I've
But
asked
even the
people,
Photoshop, I've gotten
um,
weird
Oh
comments.
for
really?
me,
That's interesting.
Yeah.
it's tattoos are a big thing because like I've had people that actively don't want their tattoos removed for a shot, and I'm
Huh.
like,
Hmm.
and
Interesting.
I'm very much in your camp, Alf, of wanting the when I'm taking a picture, I want it to be a picture of that character, not necessarily a picture of uh this specific person as this character. I'm trying more to capture that character.
Hmm.
I mean,
Hmm.
and that can depend, and there's a lot of variables with that. Um,
Mm.
so I just try and honestly read the person, and I think more often than not, like if it's a convention and that person's choosing to wear that thing, it means they want it in the photo.
Agreed.
Like if you're on a location shoot, that's a whole different like can of worms there. But like if someone's walking
I feel like even
around,
if the location shoot, if you show up and you have a piercing that's visible, I feel it. I mean, they
true,
still
yeah,
showed up to,
yeah,
it's a very weird. I often I like Al said. I mean, I prefer not to have. I mean, we all said this, but I prefer not to have the piercing in the photo. Like, if I'm gonna shoot Kiki from Kiki's Delivery Service, but she has a huge septum piercing, I mean, I'm gonna be like, oh, I don't know. Kiki's like 10. I don't think she would have a huge septum piercing, but you also willingly wore it to the shoot and you like it, so it's like I don't really know what to do. So I guess what the point I'm trying to make is like if a photographer asks if you can Photoshop out a piercing that you have, please don't take it as an offense. We're just trying to make like the art and bring the character to life as true as like as accurate as possible. Like we're not trying to be offensive to you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sorry that Eric, your photo ended up going into a little tangent there.
I'm
But
sorry, we're
hope,
always on our tangents.
so it's more or less that sorry that to Eric that his photo was the one that ended up with it. It's I
Yeah.
feel it's an inevitable thing with our critiques.
Though the colors is nice though, with the sky and water and everything. The color is nice.
Back to the
Can't believe
shop.
this was taken as C2E2. Honestly, though, that's such a real comment. I can't believe this is C2E2.
Yeah, same. So that's a good job then if it's actually doing C2E2.
Yeah.
God, I
It's-
thought it was like Hawaii or some shit. That's what the water looks like to me.
And the water looks like that. I don't think he changed much of the color
Really?
too. Yeah, it was pretty. It was
Wow.
pretty good looking that day. Cool. I think we
Anyway,
were on this one
sorry, guys.
for quite long enough. So, Sarah, you're gonna hit us
Yes.
up next for this shot from Eugene.
Oh my god, when I first saw this photo, I like fell in love with the color grading of this immediately. Like, okay,
Yeah.
first of all, you have the complementary colors, red and green working together, which is hard as hell to do. And then second, you have a more like yellow green. Like we're always talking about like our blue greens or the mallow greens as we like to call them, and somehow this person made yellow green work. I don't understand. I'm super impressed. I don't get it. I love the colors in this photo. I'm in love. Gonna go back. This is like a tiny Dutch angle. I think for me the tilt doesn't really work in this photo because I don't really understand why it's there. I think the background itself is already so beautiful and like it's so serene and the model is just like she's so relaxed. It's like it seems a little unnecessary to have like that slight tilt in the background. So again, I guess if you're tilting your camera, you're trying to get that dynamic line of some kind, just kind of ask yourself like, why are you doing it, and how is it potentially enhancing your photo?
I might know the answer of that. I'm gonna guess.
Is this fate? Is that why?
No, it's not. So if you notice, she walks in the middle of the road here, and on the back there's this little stone lamp thing, and I feel like well, when the photographer want to have like both the model and the cosplayer and then the lamp thing on uh the same frame,
Yeah.
but like if
I
you're
still
doing it
think you
like
still could have seen it though without the tilt.
Yeah, I think
that is true
also
too.
for me, with that, I would maybe want to have moved over a little bit so that they were like. I agree. I think the stone lantern is actually really cool. I think I would maybe want them like separated a little bit more. So like maybe move, if I'm the photographer, move my spot a little bit to the right so that the cosplayer can be a little bit more camera left, and the lantern can stay pretty much around the same spot that it's in. I also.
Oh, I just realized how unfortunate this looks on the YouTube. I mean, on the Facebook stream.
Ooh,
Oh
yeah.
no.
Yeah, this doesn't look
This
great.
is one that's really suffering. Oh no.
The colors do not look great. It's interesting because I feel like it also is affecting the contrast. Like, is that just me? Like, it's less contrasty on Facebook. I'm sorry, Facebook sucks, guys. I swear, I'll look into doing streams to Twitch from here on out.
It's okay. That means they need to see on the photographer's or cosplayer's page or website.
Yeah, go to these people's pages
secret
to see the photos, you guys.
Yeah,
This does
go
not
to
do
Eugene's
justice.
website.
Yeah. Oh man.
What I was gonna say though is I'd like to see this cropped just a bit tighter. I feel like there's a bit too much headroom in this shot.
Kind of like the Sydney photo from before.
Yeah. I feel like perhaps like a 16:9 crop would do it.
16:9.
Yes.
Yeah.
That might work actually.
That'd be sexy.
Yeah. I just did it. I like it. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
Well, for me, I'm not really bothered with the cropping. I feel like it's okay to have enough room. Um, with more rooms, you can actually add more possibility, especially if you're into like storytelling kind of thing. You can add like typography and somewhere over here because there's a lot of empty spaces and stuff like that. But also the 16 by 9 is also it's a good option too that you can do. And also, well, you don't know, maybe it's Violet, not Saber. Sarah.
Maybe it's
Yeah,
a
it is.
different saber face.
It's a different saber. It's like a saber
May-
altar or some shit. I don't fucking know.
Maybe it's Violet. Slap.
I was like, it could be Violet Evergarden, but it's not because it's one bun. So
Yeah, it's Saber. So yeah.
I have one nitpicky thing.
Oh.
Only because it's only bothering me because the colors are so contrasty that it just stands out. Is the wig? I wish that her like the side pieces were brushed
Right.
together because there's like those weird like. I mean, this happens with these updo wigs are a pain in the ass. I know. This is why I don't cosplay characters that wear them because shit like this happens. So yeah, just like next time, just be like, when you're taking the picture, just make sure like everything is intact, especially with saber wigs. I've shot a few before and they're always a pain. And just to like get those hair fibers just cleaned up and closer together because right now they're going a little crazy. And that would not be fun to Photoshop out. So that would also save yourself some time in the post process as well.
Actually, since you're talking about saber wigs, actually, I have a pro tip for a photographer out there that's shooting like
Yes.
saber. So if you see like saber wig that has little hair over here, it's actually part of the costume. It's not a flyover. It's actually a ahoge. So it just yeah. Just,
Oh
just keep
no,
it
not
there.
on the top. The one the
I know,
the
no,
hair
I
that's
know,
going
I
on
know,
her
I know.
back.
Yeah, I know, I know.
Yeah.
But,
Okay, I was like, wait, what?
because I heard from a lot of my fellow saber cosplayer out there, they said most of photographer said that I don't like your hair sticking out from your head, or take it off. And I was like, no, that's part of their hair.
The ahoge. It's like so intentional looking though.
So yeah, just
Come on,
to let
people.
just let you guys know.
Oh man. Come on, guys, do your research first.
Research is important.
It's very important.
Any
Other
other?
thing we haven't talked about is the lighting. I like the lighting a lot.
I guess
I
we do
can't.
have more
It,
thoughts.
I
Go ahead.
really. It's so dynamic. I can't. Like, is it natural? Like, is there a light on her?
I feel like
It's just,
it looks like natural light to me. It doesn't look strobed.
yeah, it's just because she pops so much. I wasn't quite sure. It's
I think
kind of like walking
I think
that
it's
fine line.
because the photographer darken or like do a vignette on
Yeah,
the other side, so it looks more like focused on the face like that.
I love it. Anyway, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm good.
If it was, I just quick looked it up. It was so I love it when people keep their camera settings in the file because this was Canon 6D
Oh, okay.
ISO 100 f2 at 1/400th of a second, and I know the 6D's sync speed is 1/160th, and that doesn't mean that it couldn't have been high speed synced, but I just kind of don't think so. So I don't think it was strobed.
Got it. Just the editing just really brought it home. I feel like. Good job, dude.
Good job, Eugene
Eugene. That last name though.
Arjomenko.
That.
Yeah, that
Hopefully, I'm
one.
not butchering your name.
Any other thoughts on this one before we move on to the next one?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. This next one up is from Kai, who's another frequent submitter to the critiques. And why don't Alf you take us off on this one?
Well, my first impression of this photo is definitely you. I can totally see that it's everything is artificial lights, which is sometimes it can be it could be a bad thing sometimes because I know it's everything's all artificial, like the light is so flat and it's also flash behind her. Another thing is you can totally do a little more touching or even shading on her face, because it'll help her to define the face. So it's not like liquify or anything like that. It's basically just like highlight and shadows, and it's definitely gonna help her a lot, because I can see that her makeup is not really, I can't really see the makeup over there. So you can help the cosplayer with your own, like adding little highlight and shadow on there. A little bit of Dutch angle too, I'll say, which is all right, I guess. Can't really tell why you need to do that, but all right. um, just the yeah. I think the light is just a bit too flat to me, and then you can, I believe, I think it's taken during a con. I
Yeah.
think you can, I think you can take this to a place where it doesn't have like as many unnecessary details, like like you can see the little typography and
Yeah, the sign was bothering
umbrella.
me above her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you can do better with, take the cosplayer to a better place, and you don't have to use light if you don't have it, like as long as you can convey what you're trying to say to us, you don't have to use lights, because
Thank you.
as a photographer, we're telling story with pose and light, and photography is basically painting with light. So it doesn't mean that you have to use an artificial light. You can always use natural lights too. That doesn't matter, as long as we can see what you're trying to say with this photo. And I think that's that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what I would say is I know he left a comment on this as to how one of the areas that he wanted some help with is he used that a flash behind her that was, I think it was gelled pink, and he was like it only
Oh.
affected part of the umbrella, and he wanted to affect more of the umbrella, and was wondering if there was any thoughts on that. And
Does it need to be higher?
I don't I don't know if I want it to a rim light there. Like I don't. I
I think
think go ahead.
I think it could work. So I assume the photographer wants the umbrella to be like lit, like backlit with a pink light. So
Hmm.
I think it actually could work if the background is also like dark.
Yeah.
So if the background is dark enough, or probably even like almost black, then you can see that the umbrella is actually glowing. But for now, because the
Hmm.
background, you can still see the background. It doesn't really. It actually doesn't make sense, because the photo itself, you can see a shadow from the light outside. It's actually from that way. So yeah.
I think this photo could really benefit from some like color grading. Because as far as I
Mhm.
know, I really don't think anything was done to it too much. Um, and I know shooting at a convention can be like really, really hard. And I know that playing around with the colors and color toning it can really save your image. And I would like to see this image played around a bit more with colors just to see what it would look like. And it doesn't have like that like artificial light feel that we've been talking about. So like darkening the background a bit and then playing up like that pink glow that you were going for. Because
Uh,
I love a good glow, but
So I think for me, what I would like to have seen in this shot is, um, I so right now I feel like this shot with like the main light is like light more of the short side of her, like have the light coming in the way that her face is facing, because I think that'll really make a bit more of a mottled light on her and have it feel less flat. I feel like it's coming from like camera left, but like really close to the camera. I'd like to see it moved a little bit further off to give a bit more depth of the light. I think so. Not knowing where this is shot, and this might not work at all. Um, it looks like there's a hallway there. What I would maybe like to do is move her into that hallway and try and have the pink gelled flash blast instead of onto the back of her be from behind her onto the background and kind of try and make some interesting pink shapes on the background instead of trying to force it onto the umbrella. Because like I think umbrellas naturally are like create like a really nice geometric shape, and help
Mm,
focus
mm,
the viewer on the image. So I wouldn't worry so much on like trying to also highlight it because like right now it like with it flashed right behind her, it is giving the umbrella a hot spot. Um,
mm, mm, mm.
and it's kind of brighter than her, and it just feels a little bit weird. So I'd focus more on trying to do something cool with the background if you're going to use a second gelled flash.
Mm.
Cool.
Also,
Any?
actually,
Oh,
I have something else actually. So I just actually zoom into this photo so it fills my screen. And actually, when I zoom in everything and make it like so close, actually it looks way better. So if you crop like just like really close to her face, on a like a horizontal photo, it actually looks way better. Try it out.
yeah.
Uh,
Actually, I just did that on my screen as well. I think it actually does work pretty well like that.
hmm, hmm. Because now we are focused on both of her face and the geometric and all the guiding lines on the umbrella. So it actually looks good like that.
Cool. Any final thoughts on this one before we move on?
Dude.
Cool. So this next one is from Katie, or Level Up Photography. And I am going to start things off this one. And oh man, I really like the light direction in this shot. I think it's really neat. Um
Hmm,
I so the way that the light comes is coming down on her, um and
hmm,
it's kind of gives like this on the background it looks a bit like a ray because like I think the bottom left corner was burned, and then the top right corner was also burned, um but like the way that that area works kind of like flows really well into where the cosplayer is located in the shot, and it just gives like a really nice look and really focuses the image. The coloring also works really well with the shot overall, with kind of the background matching the colors in the cosplay. Um, yeah, I'm really enjoying this shot like at an overall level. I would I feel like everything that I have to say on this is kind of on the nitpickier level, but I'm just going to jump into some of those anyways. Um, I feel like the color grading could maybe be taken just a little bit further. What I mean by that is her skin color feels like a bit red to me, and especially kind of like on the back of her arm there. And I'd like to try and match the wall that she's leaning against a bit
hmm.
more in color. Oh, excuse me, in color to the wall that is in the background. I think that those little changes could kind of enhance the shot a bit more. I also love Matthew Jenkins' comments is when you recognize con photos from the walls, and man, if
Yo,
that's
that's
not
real
real,
life.
I feel like if it's a con I've been to, like even if it's like a fraction of the wall in this shot, I'm like, oh, I know where that is.
Like that's Katsukan, you guys.
Yeah.
Um,
Even more obscure things. I feel like for me like anything that's taken at the Donald E. Stevens Convention Center in Chicago or the surrounding area, because I've been there so many damn times. Like I feel like you could take like anything, photo anywhere in that, and only show a little bit of the space, and I'd be like, oh, I know exactly where that is. That's beside the point.
like, well,
The one thing I would say is at first I kind of feel like I liked the kind of Egyptian hieroglyphs on the wall, but I think the more I'm looking at this shot, the kind of funkier it feels.
I think because like it feels to me like more of like an overlay and not
Yeah,
like trying to make it look like they're there. Like I think the idea is really good and the concept, but like okay, also I am no like effects specialist and I can't do it, so which is why I just don't do it. But it's like if you're gonna do it, you gotta go deep and just go for it.
yeah, that's how kind of I feel on effects. It's not. I feel like I can do them. I just don't want to put like the 4 hours into a single shot for it to look good. So I usually don't end up doing them. Um,
Yeah.
I would
Okay.
maybe blur them a bit more because I feel like the backgrounds
Yeah.
bokeh a little bit more, and those are a bit
Right.
too sharp, so they kind of read a little bit weird.
Yeah. I was gonna say the same thing actually. So because right now it's kind of like in between. Is that actually part of the wall, or is that actually like a graphic design kind of thing, or like a
Mm.
typography? Because basically, hypergraph is actually a typography. So it's like, huh. So which one is that then? But I'm gonna assume it's part of the wall. If
I
that's
think
so,
they're
then yeah,
trying to say it's
it's
part of the wall,
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
the
like
way
how they
my
were
eyes
written.
were trying to read it as.
hmm.
Yeah.
So if that's the thing, then yeah, it's a bit too sharp. And also, well, since I can't read hyperglyphs, so I hope it's actually a good thing. It's not like, oh, you're, those kind of things.
Yeah, I don't. I think it's. I would imagine it's probably just random, but I don't know if that
Not,
particularly bothers me.
yeah,
Lorem
hopefully
ipsum, but it's
for
hieroglyphics.
That would be
yeah, no.
amazing.
Probably also a little nitpick for me, because I'm really into lines and stuff. uh, it's like it's because
Oh, I
it's kind
know.
of actually it's kind of actually kind of sort of like like little hard diagonal just a
Yeah,
tiny bit.
yeah.
Hmm.
Eh,
And this one's a super easy one to just straighten, like
Like
yeah.
Photoshop.
yeah, because like, man, yeah, I'm gonna bring it back to this. For Dutch angles, like if this was an intentional like curve, like no one's gonna read that as like you were attempting to turn that. So like, if you take a shot and like the verticals are just ever so slightly not vertical, just fix it. It's super easy to do in Lightroom or whatever editing program you're using.
Hmm. I also probably with the hair, the flyovers probably can be fixed a bit more, especially on the back shoulder,
Yeah. Clean
and
it up a little
also
bit.
yeah, a little bit, and then also the hair is totally black on my screen. I don't know if it's
Yeah, it
intentional
just
or but
is.
I
No,
think
Like
it is.
it is.
it's pure black. Like yeah, it just
Like
is.
there. So probably try to not to do that too much because I
I know black
really
wigs are hard to shoot, but
yeah.
it's looks. No, I think it was darkened.
Yeah, I think it was burned a little bit because
Uh,
there is no detail in a
there is
lot of this
nothing
area.
there.
If I
Hmm.
screen share for a hot second, that all the areas that are right here that are black are pure 100% black, and it's a bit strong.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
But overall, I really like the composition and everything.
I do too. Very nice.
Cool. With that, let's move on to the next shot, which is going to be from
It's
KMP.
K.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay.
K. Yeah, it's K.
Okay.
Sarah, you get to lead us on this one.
Your turn.
She's funny. She was asking what Dutch angle was, and I found like an article by um Petapixel explaining it in movies and stuff. And she was like, "Oh no, you're gonna hate my image."
No, we're not.
um, no, we're not trying to be assholes. Okay, but
Well, maybe I
this
am.
is
I'm trying to be an
fine. Maybe
asshole.
you are, whatever. But this is an example where I don't mind Dutch angle. So this actually is a pretty good example of what I was trying to say earlier is when the model is going with the angle that you're like doing or that you're capturing. I don't know. That's not said very well. Anyway, um, I think for me though, the reason why it doesn't quite work is like I also because like I can see the prop getting cut off a little bit on the right, and then K, just FYI, I'm gonna be a little tough on you because shit is so good. So if I'm being nitpicky with you, it's because
we love you.
we do. Like seriously, Kay, you are so young, but your photos are so fucking good. I don't understand anyway. Yeah, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I kind of wish the composition was just a little bit over like to the right because I think there's a little too much negative space on the left for me personally. It's not quite working. But I do like the movement in this shot. Like I really feel like I don't know what this is from. Maybe this text will tell me. I can't read all this right now. But I really like how I feel like the character is getting ready to like leap and lunge and like attack with like their spear thing. And that scarf flip is really nice. Like this is another thing that's making this kind of angle shot work for me as well. Is like there's a lot of movement going on, and then that movement is also being communicated by the cosplayer's actual like outfit by flipping that scarf, so it looks like that
Yeah,
thing
the
is
scarf
really
is
actually
really
happening.
helping the
Yeah.
angle.
This is an example. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be mean, but this is an example of what I was talking about earlier when a flash is in the photo.
Yeah.
But not one, but two flashes are in the
But
photo.
two,
And one
yeah.
light stand.
Yeah, it's a light stand and a flash. So a light stand and two flashes, and I can see them in the background. I don't work with lights. I don't really know what the solution is. So maybe like Andrew and Elf can help with this one.
So-
like I like the lighting, but I don't like. I can see the
So what I would say on that is I actually like the furthest back light. That one I think is fine. You just need to Photoshop out the stand.
Okay.
I don't mind seeing the light in that shot.
No, I don't mind seeing the light either.
I just think I can see the stand, and that shouldn't be a difficult Photoshop to do to get rid of that stand. The one that does bother me is the flash on the ground because I'm fully
Which is
reading
like-
that as a flash. And two, what is it doing? Like, what is it doing for this shot? Like, that sounds super mean.
No.
But I feel like all it's really doing is like adding a tiny bit of extra rim light on the leg, specifically their right leg.
But I don't think it's enough that like if it wasn't
no.
there, it would be bad.
Yeah, and like all it's doing is adding that little bit of color on the floor and the wall. I think it would look better with like if that flash just wasn't there. I just don't see the point of that flash. That sounds mean.
Yeah. Well, Vaughn, since you said that you're okay with the light on the further back, so what do you think that light's telling you?
I don't know if it's telling me specifically anything. Clear, I have no idea what this cosplay is. So, but like to me, I feel
Is it
like
fate? I'm kidding.
Is that? I'm pretty sure not.
to me, kind of like this with the flow of it, like this burst of light behind them is something that very much reads as kind of like a anime video game style thing. Like it doesn't.
Yeah.
I feel like
The fantasy thing.
yeah, like just like I feel like if I was opening the pages of a manga and like they had like a weird flare directly behind them, it would just feel like totally fine. It yeah, that doesn't bother me at all. Like so yeah.
So I think I really like the lights. I think the way to like actually I also like the lights in between their leg. It's just I think the best way to actually make this photo even work better with all these three lights or two lights behind him is if you actually have like a smoke bomb and stuff like that. So it actually not only it'll make the background looks more more fantasy looking, but also it's gonna mask the entire flash itself, and it adds and the color will pop too because the smoke will be a medium to the flash itself.
Yeah, okay, I think yes, I think that's what's throwing me off with the flash because I like the light in the back. I'm a sucker for backlit things just anyway, but I think it's the starkness of it against the black background that I don't like. Like I like the look that they were going for, like aesthetically, but I think because it's literally like a glowing ball floating in that black alleyway, is too stark for me. So I think the smoke bomb would have been cool, but who knows if I don't even know where this was shot. Like, was this in New York? Like I don't. This is crazy.
And plus, I like that I can still see details outside of the window. Like I can see trees and part of the sky too. So that's a
Yeah,
really good call, I think.
it's really cool.
Probably for a post processing thing, you can probably like on the top left because the light's coming from that way, so you probably can like reduce the highlights from there, so it'll look
Mm,
more um it'll not look like the lights from there, if you know what I'm saying.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I, yeah, I think it just needs to be toned down ever so slightly in the top left. Like you don't need a lot of burning there.
Mm-hmm. That's easy things to do too.
Yeah,
So
especially because like I actually really the texture on that wall in like the top left is like a really nice texture. So like
yeah.
I still want it to be visible because it's a cool looking texture.
Kate was like, I don't know why
I
the
don't know.
flashes are there. First time using multiple flashes. I mean, for someone, I mean, for a first time, I mean, it's pretty awesome. But again, it's just being like aware of like, is this gonna be in my photo? And then like, if it is, like, what purpose is it serving?
Mhm.
Um,
I can see that the back flash also helps with the what do you call that thing? The red
the
The
scarf
scarf.
thing.
the scarf. Yeah, the scarf. Because it kind of like lit in the scarf too, so it actually
Yeah.
helps there. Okay, but yeah, it's just how you like make that light not too distracting or make that part of the photo and part of your story probably.
Hmm.
So just out of to be like the contrarian here a little bit, but I actually think this would be cool. Is what if you just leaned the hell into that back flash and just like added a ton of flare, so there was just like a ton of light coming from that back.
Oh,
I
Ooh,
think that
that'd be
could
oh.
also look
cool.
really cool.
I think I
Yeah.
think that will look so magical. So you're saying like all the lights coming from back there?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
like
So they're
Ian.
backlit
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah. So
It's
so
just
it's
like that
yeah.
glowy thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
that'd be
like
dope.
really add a ton of like you could do this in post. I don't think it should be too hard is to add a bunch
Mm-mm.
of flare back there. But yeah, just a thought that like popped into my head. Okay, let's move on to the next shot. This one is from
Oh,
LJ, and I think yeah, Elf, you starting us off on this one.
today we're doing Star Wars, right?
Yeah,
Star
yes.
Yeah,
Wars.
this is Queen Amidala and Padme. They're same people. Sorry about that. But yeah, let's talk about the photo, not the thing, because Star Wars fans out there can be really extreme. But
Yep,
yeah,
that's what I'm
that
saying.
helps.
I think they're two actual different characters. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah.
freaking know. I don't know Star
But
Wars.
Dude,
yeah,
I don't know Star Wars that well. We're bad nerds, you guys. We're sorry.
we're casual up here, so I know, right?
We're posers.
I may not know the characters, but I know that staircase.
Are you kidding
Oh,
me?
wow.
No,
Uh,
it's anime Milwaukee, so
Oh
oh,
my
okay. But yeah,
god.
I like the I like that they picked the place because it actually reminds me of scene from the first and Phantom Menace. So I like the location. The pose and expression could be better if you direct the cosplayer to be like just say something like for example like tell the cosplayer like imagine your dog is in danger up there, so they'll have that legit expression other than just saying look over there, and then the cosplayer will be like, okay, I'm just gonna look over there with this pose. Are you good? Like something like that. So try to direct your cosplayer and try to make some kind of like situation so they can express with their actual feeling kind of thing. I think that's that, and then the I also noticed that I assume this is during a con, right? I think,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
not.
This is during a con.
Okay. Also, the orange thing on the
tips, yeah.
guns, on tips. You also can probably just change that color to match the body of the gun.
Yeah,
But that's
that's what
that.
I usually do is or I'm just like super lazy and grab like um uh
Desaturate that
desaturate
shit.
and just like desaturate it, especially if it's like a con shot that I'm not like super into. I'll just desaturate it because like that's the quick and lazy way of doing it.
I mean, it's such an easy fix and it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty easy. Probably with Amidala, I'm trying to figure out what she's trying to do with her right hand. Like, you probably you can also direct that to be more like if she actually like holding the staircase or not. So probably that's that. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree on the posing. I feel like the cosplayer that is closer to the camera, her pose is a bit stronger than the cosplayer in back of the camera. I feel like the one in back feels a little hunched over.
Little flash, yeah.
Yeah, and I'd like to just try and see a different her with a different pose. Um, I'm actually I'm surprised this so this staircase actually the like lighting in here is like super ugly. So it's, I feel like this is the kind of place where you want to bring strobes because otherwise it doesn't look all that great. Um so knowing that and like looking at this lighting, I feel like this lighting looks like pretty decent knowing what's there.
Hmm.
Um so props on that. I think I would like to see this with like a bit more of a color grade too.
Yeah, I was
The
just about to
lighting,
say
yeah, the
that.
lighting feels very, very like correct. I
Clean.
would say like it's like
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
clean. I would like to see it with a bit more flavor though.
Mm.
Especially coming from Star Wars, it's like one of those series that just really lends itself to be more creative with the color grading too. So it'd be fun to play around with that.
That's an option. Though I'm still okay with this color.
Yeah, it's not bad by any means. I think knowing this location and the lights are super orange. So
Mm.
like
Dang,
this shot looks really good for this area. So
that's
yeah,
awesome.
cool.
Probably a little nitpick probably will be the neck part of the. I'm gonna say the cosplay on the back just because I'm not. I don't want to have like, hey,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
not
yeah, yeah,
Amidala.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. I
yeah,
agree with the
yeah.
neck with the face
Probably
paint.
that the neck part could be like try to match that with the entire body or face.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
cool. Let's keep her going. Let's move on to the next shot, and this one is from Maddie or Maho Maddie. At first, I thought when I was looking at this shot, I thought it was maybe um, the new building at Katsucon, but then I looked a little bit more and I was like,
Oh,
no,
you're
that's
right.
different. That's what I like at very first glance. It's like, oh, that's a
It
no, it's
does.
not at Katsucon. But I remember when she's submitting, and sorry if other people submitted like with text that are like, hey, I was curious about this. Like, hopefully I remember what your request of like specific critique is on each photo, but my brain can only hold so much. But I remember her specifically asking about like this was one of the first times she's done like a cape flip and how to do
Mm.
to manage that. Um,
Was there first time?
yeah,
Damn.
first
That's
time
good
do
though.
yeah,
It was good for her first time. What are you
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about?
I was gonna say I'm like
Props,
yeah,
props to the flipper
yes.
or
Yeah.
whoever done that too. Good job,
Wait,
all of you.
or did the cosplayer do it? Is that what they were saying? Or
It was the first photo she's taken while trying to do a cape flip, or with a cape flip in it. I don't
okay.
remember the exact wording. I don't know who the cape flipper was, but
You did a
Yeah,
good job.
Yeah. So right off the bat, I like the composition of this shot. The lines. I would want her shifted ideally ever so slightly over so that the two lines would converge right onto to her head to as kind of like the focal point. That would be the ideal, but I still do like the composition the way it is. The lines still are pretty strong. I also like I think well, I think you could take it further. I do kind of like the cool color of this shot as well.
I like the
Um,
cool colors too.
yeah, it
Hmm.
just
It actually reminds me of, I think it's an official art that was first released of Lightning,
Hmm.
like like decades ago, because this game is was like
Oh.
literally from forever ago, and it looks just like this. So that's what I like about the coloring so much. It like instantly reminded me of the official art from Square Enix for this character. So I thought they did a really good job, like
yeah.
bringing that to life with like a real
I'm yeah,
person.
I'm interested on your guys' opinions because like I
Hmm.
for the cape flip, like
Hmm.
I personally would prefer it frozen because like the shutter it's got like
Mm.
the blur from the
Hmm.
shutter being slower. I think for me, I'd like it to be sharper, especially because like right now, I feel like with the motion blur, the cape is falling. It looks like it's falling straight down instead of
Falling
kind of like
down.
Mm-hmm.
flowing in the wind. Um,
Hmm.
so like if it was frozen, I don't
Yeah.
think it would read like it was being flipped as much.
Hmm.
That said, cape flips are hard, man. Like it's
Yeah.
hard to get them. Like I think we're almost like desensitized to them a little bit. Um,
Hmm.
like they since they happen so much they almost we're like almost used to like what cosplay cape flips look like and not what like a actual flowing cape would look like all that much anymore, I don't know, maybe
No,
that's
I know what you mean. They're
um
they're just there's so much flipping nowadays. I feel
yeah,
like it's like
so
I have this little piece of string. Let's flip it.
Hmm.
Um,
so
no, I agree
so
with you. I think it's a little too blurry for me.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's my opinion.
Well, for me, for cape flipping, well, first of all, uh, you need to know the reason why you want to cape flip. Like, what's the story that you want to say. For and then for this pose, so you know that the cape is flipping. So it's either wind or the character is moving, something like that. But then the hair is still like down. So it's like there's. So I feel like like normally both of them were gonna move
Yeah,
at least tiny bit.
or
So
or
I think
maybe have like a less extreme cape flip.
yeah, because especially with this photo, looks like it moves so fast. It's like your camera can't even like take photo of that cape, but then the hair is still like so it's so static. So I think that's the thing that you need to consider next time. But for the first time, it looks nice though.
um
Someone mentioned. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Sarah. No.
Someone mentioned in the chat about the boot, and I was actually kind of wondering about that too. So I had to look it up, but it does look like there was like a minor costume malfunction. The tongue of her boot like completely turned to the other side of the boot, so it's like inside instead of
Oh,
facing the front.
I see.
Yeah, I
Oh
forgot what
yeah.
the blue was, and then I realized it was like her sock. Yeah, so that's just something that's totally not on the cosplayer because I mean she can't see it, so that's just something to again as a photographer I know there are 10,000 things going on through your head when you're shooting, but just to do a quick just like costume check, like are things falling apart, are things slipping, just like yeah. Again, I know that's hard to do and to remember, but just it's always a good thing to do before you click that shutter. So
Yeah. Also, so usually a good thing about that is you can also after the shot the photo you can show the cosplayer. Well,
mm,
if that's not your thing, then it's okay. But usually I show my cosplayer, and sometimes because I usually I too focus on like lightings and everything. Sometimes I
yeah.
miss something like that. And then when I show the cosplayer, because they're the one that in costume, so they know which ones doesn't look right. They usually it's the one that notice. Oh, you know what? Actually, my hair looks like this, and actually my boots look like this. So I always think that showing the model or the model or cosplayer the photo is always a good thing, I think.
Okay. Although I've definitely had instances before where I'll show preview shots and then something malfunctions, but no one notices until I send them to edit a photo, and you're like, "Oh shit!
That's the
Oh,
worst.
no.
That's the worst in the world. There's
It's
not
the
there's not too many
worst.
feelings that are worse than that.
That just means you both fucked up. It's fine, you guys."
Having and like Lou said, having like a buddy or like a assistant to look over the costume is also a good thing too. So
It's literally why I bring assists to shoots with me all the time now. I
Assist-
am so thankful to my assistants.
oh, assistant is a really good thing to have during a shoot.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, and speaking of assistants, because someone actually brought this up with me like a month ago when I was looking for an assistant for an on location shoot. They were like, "Is there anything I should know about being an assistant?" Because they'd never really done it before. And I was like, "Oh, that's a good question." And it's like when you're an assistant to like a cosplay photographer, or really just like a fashion photographer, or any of that kind of thing, it's just to be like, is the hair messy, or is the wig messy? How does the costume look? Is something out of place? That's usually that's when an assistant just like brings it home. So just being aware of those kinds of things and to call them out during the shoot, like, don't be afraid. My friend Joe is a great assistant. Like, he'll like literally, I'll be ready to take a picture and be like, no, I gotta fix the thing. And I'm like, Joe, no. But it's so helpful because it just saves you so much just like editing problems and just being like, oh, this was such a good shot, but literally like her wig is falling off.
Yeah. So actually, before I moved to America, every time I do a shoot back in Jakarta or in Southeast Asia, usually we actually usually have like for a photo shoot we actually have like more than 3.
What?
Yeah.
That's real life. I've heard of that. I didn't know that. Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So
That's a nuts amount.
Yeah. So assistant is actually really good to have. Not only they help, but they also gonna like assisting and stuff. So yeah.
I wish. I'm lucky if I have a assistant.
Oh no.
So let's keep this train rolling. So this next shot is going to be from Matthew Jenkins or Vagabond Photography.
So I don't think the photos are showing.
What?
I'm on the video right.
Oh, I just switched. I just switched it since we were talking about assistants.
Oh shit! Oh,
it's up, Sarah. It's up. Trust in the Vontography.
Trust in the Vaughn. Trust in the Vaughn.
I was answering someone's question. I'll stop answering someone's question. I'll go with this photo.
God, Sarah, get on game.
Someone had a question about caps. Okay. So I really like the lighting in this photo. Actually, this is another one where I'm kind of like, was there also a light use? Sure. But I like the natural light look that it's
Oh,
giving.
this was definitely strobed.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it feels nice and soft. Like usually, I don't know. Usually, I don't dig it too much, but I think the balance between the strobe and the natural light outside, I think, has struck a good balance. I think this is from Devilman Crybaby. Could be wrong. I don't know. But I like the soft light that it feels to kind of like accent this character, even though this character is like really fucked up, but that's okay.
Is this from Devilman?
I think it's from Devilman. I'm like pretty sure.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
Let us know in the comments.
Matthew's here, so
we don't
maybe
know
you can
anything.
tell it. And he said,
Devilman Crybaby. Oh no.
Yes. Oh, good. Yes.
It's like there's always strobes with me. I don't think I've seen him shoot without strobes ever. I may be wrong on that, but I feel like he's the kind of person that's like always strobes.
The thing I'm wondering though is I don't quite understand why the background on the right is what it is. Like I want to believe that the pillar thing that you're shooting against was big enough to have that just be the sole background. I think the background like on the right is pretty distracting. And it kind of takes away from like the aesthetic of Devilman Crybaby a little bit. because I see like the chain like fencing off the area, and I can see like the tourist signs for like I'm assuming it's probably like a ferry boat area over there or something. It kind of looks like it's in Boston or something. I don't know. Yeah, I wish that whatever's in the background on the right just wasn't there, especially if
I
if
think
there
it's
was
also because
nicer
like
things to
this
look.
shot's I think like at f8 or something like that. So
Yeah,
like you're just seeing and that was done. So I assume so that you could use the flash and match sync
the
speeds and
flash.
stuff. Um,
Mm.
but man, I feel like you like if that was blurred out a little bit more, I think it would work. But like I'm
Mm.
seeing a bit too much of it, and it's just a little like I'm with
Yeah.
you, Sarah. Like why can I see that?
Yeah, it just doesn't really serve any purpose other than it's like there.
Mm.
Matt says it's an old Amtrak station. I had to pay a security guard to shoot there for 5 minutes.
Oh
Oh
wow!
God,
Are you freaking
Damn.
kidding
that's
me?
ridiculous.
I mean,
God,
for just for
man.
5 minutes, you did a good job though. So yeah,
Yeah.
good job. Well, for me, probably um. So I know that is an artificial light, which is from strobe, but it doesn't really matter because it looks pleasing to me, and you still have you have a decent like light and shadow on the face, so it's not as flat. Um, Probably a little comment for me probably will be since I know that you're so I know that you touch the face a bit, which is cool. But then try to balance it out with your hands too, because the hands looks not as touch as the face. I think looks pretty dark down there. So yeah, probably that's that for me. And then maybe a little bit of head space, I think, and that will be good.
I also think I'd want to see like a bit like the color feels like super accurate in this shot, and I would think like just add like a
Yes.
it's really clean. Like I just would maybe want to see a bit of I haven't seen Devilman Crybaby, but like everything I've seen about it, I feel like is pretty weird. So I feel like taking some like liberties with the color could be cool.
A little
Mm.
whack, to say the least. Yeah.
I think for the color, the reason why I kind of okay with that because since it looks so clean and looks so like real, so it kind of actually makes me believe that it's actually it's actually shoot in our world right now rather than that trying to do something that's really fantasy or like over the top kind of thing. So
Hmm.
I think it's like depends on the purpose of the photographer, but I also get your point. That's also a possibility too, but well,
Yeah.
for me, I'm actually cool with that.
Okay, let's keep her rolling. And I know I planned this out perfect. So our next one,
God damn
Alf is
it.
going
Are
to
you
start off
kidding
as
Oh my
a
god,
fate one.
let me grab let me grab this real quick. Let me grab this real quick
Oh my
because
god.
because wow, this is Nero, and actually I also have the figurature over here. So
Oh
yeah.
my god.
Stop.
So yeah,
Amazing.
somehow it's perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
let's see here.
I think Sarah, you probably know this, but I don't know if you know Megan Elf, but
It's gonna be funny, Elf.
this shot was she's the cosplayer and the photographer and the editor for this shot. So like
Oh wow.
these are take just wanted to take that into consideration as well with that.
So it's using a tripod or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
That's usually
awesome.
why she tries to have like one hand like slightly out of the frame or something because she's got the trigger
Oh,
for the
because it's
camera.
gotcha. So
So
yeah,
funny.
that's nice though, and then actually to have that talent to know what you're trying to achieve, it's actually really good, and with the editing too, because it's like backlit and it's so like angelic looking for Nero, which is good. I'm gonna say yeah, it's really good. Let's see here. I think I actually even like the overexposed and everywhere because actually it'll match with the whole angelic kind of look kind of thing. Probably actually the my comment will be actually the your expression, like what are you trying to say with your expression here? Because oh, is it gonna be like as innocent as our Umu or like or yeah. But overall, I really like the photo though. Like the whole yellowish backlight is really nice. You did it by yourself, everything, so that's really good.
All I have to say is I love that my wife came by and is like, more fate, and I'm like, yeah, more fate.
Yep, more fate.
Oh, what's wrong with it? Fate is good, dude.
We just no. It's just nice to finally have someone who knows what they're talking about,
Yeah,
because
it's-
Andrew and I and whoever the guest is will be critiquing like these fate photos, but we're like, we don't know shit about fate except
Yeah.
that this is Saber or some form of Saber, or like Saber's like clone number 500. I don't know
We don't know.
All
how
Saber
fate
fate.
works. I have no idea.
Mhm.
I really like the overexposed nature of this shot. I dig it.
Me too.
I feel like the few things that I have about this shot are kind of on the nitpicky side. I feel like I want this shot to just be ever so slightly wider.
Yes, she seems very like squished in here. It's very tight.
Yeah, like just a little bit more. Like I want to see it probably like the edge of her elbow, and then just get like a little bit lower, not by much, in the frame.
Like, could you hit the timer remote thing with your foot? Do you think?
I
Like,
don't
do you
know.
have to use your hand? I was like, because probably could have done that too, maybe.
Excuse me.
But
Yeah. The other thing that I have is I feel like one eye is squinted a bit more than the other eye.
okay, I didn't want to. Okay, that's nitpicky, but I was going to bring that up too. Anyway.
It's super nitpicky, but like it's just something that I think it kind of I know. The reason I think I notice it is because Megan's makeup game is like always on point, so like her eyes always look freaking awesome. That like the fact that they are open different amounts feels it's more noticeable. I think because
no, I mean she's also like straight onto the camera.
Yeah,
so it's like
yeah,
but that's not nothing a little liquefy can't help.
Yeah.
Like I've had to do that multiple times, but yeah, I agree. Just evening that out a bit, nitpicky, but you
know. The only I think other thought that I have on this shot is I'd either desaturate that tree a bit more, or to match kind of the golden hues of the shot, I might take those greens a bit more yellowish orange. But
I was gonna touch on that too.
Go ahead, Sarah. I've been talking too much.
Because no, that's fine. Because I think Megan does all three. She does the modeling, she does the photo taking, and then she does the editing. And I really like her soft like editing style. But I would like to see her challenge herself maybe a little bit more, just to like for example like making like the like you're saying the greens like more yellow, just to bring the tone in a different direction. Like, and I'm being like nitpicky about this with her only because like I know she has modeling experience, especially with like editorial photography, and I would like to see her experience with that brought into photos, like editing wise. I think that could just be really cool. Again, that's just kind of like wishful suggestion. I don't know that I thought would work, but
on that same thought of her being with so much modeling experience, I think I'd like to see her hand position just to be a little bit more, I guess, modelly. It's a bit, like have her fingers come in just a little bit more. They feel a bit just like open with her hand right now. Maybe curl them in just a little bit.
That's a little baseball mitt.
It's just a nitpicky though. Cool. Let's keep it going.
Whatever, Megan.
This next shot is from Morgan or Yin Yagami. Is this a person that's also the people that are shooting and cosplaying drive me nuts because I'm like, you're not allowed to be talented at multiple things.
Hey.
Oh wait, this is the cosplayer and the photographer?
Now, I don't know if that's I think they're different. It's just that they're a cosplayer and photographer. People that are cosplayers and photographers, even if not saying that they're in the shot and taking the shot, but
Mm.
just both of those skills. I'm just like, damn you, too talented.
Mhm.
So I'm at first with this image, I think I was super thrown off. Um, Correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is Steven Universe.
I was like, I think it's Steven. It's Pearl,
Pearl.
right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think. And isn't she like she doesn't have like her skin color is not natural skin
it's
color, right?
pink.
Yeah.
Oh
So
no, it's not.
is
I don't know now.
I don't
Pearl
know.
or what?
I'm googling
I'm
this.
gonna look it. I'm gonna look it up.
Okay,
She's blue, isn't she? Oh
I
no,
don't
she's.
know.
Oh wait, no, she's just pale as fuck.
Okay,
Oh,
then
would
this
we
this
tell?
changes my thing because
Never
I
mind. Oh my god, I can't believe that
yeah
actually.
I don't know Steven Universe at all. I don't know. Correct in the chat. Feel free to correct us if
No, it's definitely Steven Universe. It is. It's Pearl from Steven Universe. That head gem and that hairstyle. Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
But then if she is supposed to be pale, like the color of her skin is totally throwing me off, and that's why I was asking this because um
Mm.
oh, people interpret Pearl's skin tone in a variety of ways. Okay, good.
Mm.
Cuz like for me not knowing this, I feel my initial thought was, wow, her skin color looks like really odd. Not necessarily like if the character is that way, I think it's kind of a neat look to the photo overall, but I just didn't know like context wise cuz like it also looks like her skin could have just been like a little bit off due to like color temperature. So I didn't want to start saying things without knowing.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
thus me asking that. So given that I'm going to make the assumption here that the skin color is changed at least a little bit, and that change is intentional. With that thought, I actually kind of like the overall feel of the shot. It's kind of like this overall peachy feel of the shot. Just has like kind
Really
of
dreamy.
yeah, it's got a nice tone to it. Um, the thing that I would say is I'd like to see that tone brought a little bit more into the lower half of the photo because I think it's really strong in the top half of this photo. But
Uh,
I'd I'd like to see that reflected in like the shadows a bit more of like the lower half of the shot. I think it could really kind of create a very nice and cohesive feeling. Um,
I think
I
my problem with with the photo will be, well, I know that well, based on the chat, it says that multiple interpret color like differently. But I think my problem is because I can start to see like an artifacts of colors on part of the hands. Like that's kind of like throwing me off because first thing, because I don't know that if she's already pink or it's actually artificially like like pink like on pose or something like that. But the artifacts on the hand really kind of throws me off.
Yeah, there's a couple things
Mm.
that are feeling a bit weird to me on the shot. Like for me, the crop, I'd like to see it a little bit wider. Um, the just the way it cuts off at her hand is just a little awkward. I'd like to
Oh,
see all
awkward.
of her hand in the shot. The other thing
Mm.
is, I actually like the lighting on her overall, but there's a bit of like dappled lighting that's coming in and hitting like right
Oh,
below
by
her
her lip.
lip, and then also kind of like highlighting just a few strands of hair. And it's just like enough to like kind of be like, wait, what is that? Like, that doesn't look
Yeah, I definitely
quite
was
right.
distracted by that at first.
Um, it's weird too because like it's the only area of dappled light on her, so
Mm.
it feels especially kind of like odd because
That's
there's no
weird.
other spots really on her that you're like, oh yeah, no, that's for sure that. So I would have tried to figured out a way to not, either edit that out because that shouldn't be too bad of an edit,
Mm-mm.
or just use like a scrim. Oh, excuse me. Or something to just cover up the that specific spot so that you're not getting that light coming in on her chin like that.
I mean, honestly, just fixing the wig hair because I think that's what it's going through would have just
Oh
diffused
yeah,
that.
it's probably your
100%.
wig hair. You were very right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. Oh, okay, gotcha.
You see what I mean? It's coming through
Yeah,
on the
yeah, yeah.
side. So if they had just like bunched it together more, so the light wasn't able to get through, it would be there.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. No, that's totally right. Good call, Sarah.
so this is like a really weird nitpicky thing because at first I thought it was the expression that she was making, but it's actually not at all. It's just how the light is hitting her lips. But at first I thought her top lip was kind of like tilting up a little bit, kind of looking
Oh,
like
I see.
because I kind of thought she's like, I was like, why is she giving this expression of like something smells kind of like bad in the area? 'Cause that's like what it kind of looks like, but it's really just the highlight on her lip that makes it look like her lip is doing that, but it's actually not at all. I kind of wish that it was. I don't know how. I think I honestly, I don't know what I would have done. Maybe like a liquefy just to kind of like make the lip shape seem more natural as opposed like lift it up a little bit, or maybe like evening out her lip like tone a little bit so it wasn't like that really like intense like highlight. Because her expression is like so beautiful and her lips are actually very relaxed and very serene, but because of that like, that one line, I'm like, why does she look like she's smelling something funky? But she's not. It's not actually there. I can see
Yeah.
her actual lip shape, and it's not there. So I don't know if it's like lip gloss or I don't know what it is, but yeah, I wish that was that. I think that could have been fixed in post a little bit.
But I'm gonna say that I really like the light and the expression though. It's really beautiful.
Really
I,
pretty.
I like her eyes, how they're looking
Mhm.
off and down.
Yeah, same.
Okay, let's keep going. This next one, I feel is which Sarah's going to lead us on. I feel like she's going to spend a lot of time raving about is from Rico.
Hang on, this is loading very slow.
It's so beautiful.
Wait, is this real life?
Or is this just fantasy?
Yeah.
What the hell? How do you shoot something
I
like
have a
this?
Yeah.
Wait, is this? I'm confused.
I
Is this real?
So this one
Well,
I spent some time when this was submitted looking at this one and
Uh
trying to
huh.
judge whether this is real or not. I think it's photoshopped, but the fact that I need to spend
yeah,
so much time looking to be able to
yeah.
tell, like props,
Oh, the
like
land. Oh my god, that's crazy. It's because
yes,
they did a good job adding noise to the effects. That's what's
yeah.
throwing
Yeah,
me
So
off.
I think the
Oh wow.
lanterns are photoshopped in,
Hmm. That's
but
really
so,
fucking
they
cool.
were done so well
yeah.
that like
Yeah.
it just reads so well. Sorry, Sarah, I didn't mean to.
Wait, but those lights in the water, those are real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
probably. But yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
this shot
yeah,
is
yeah,
so
yeah. Probably.
magical.
But yeah.
Yeah, I really like this shot. Although I'm not gonna lie, at first when I initially saw it, I didn't realize it was Rapunzel right
Oh,
away,
Mm.
because there's so much light in the background that I'm actually more drawn towards like the sparkles and the lanterns in the sky and like the bridge and stuff, and then I Rapunzel. So luckily those things draw my eye towards her, but I wish the background was darkened like a little bit just so she pops more because she is so like that lantern is lighting her so beautifully. Um, I just wish that would be a thing. And also, like, this is like a nitpicky thing, but those like leaves in the foreground, I wish those were like just moved out of the way just for this shot. You don't have to like
Yeah.
destroy them or anything.
I feel like
But
where I want this shot is like
yeah,
even further like in like from the water a little bit. So
yeah.
but like I don't know if that angle's possible.
I don't know either. I mean, it's a very cool shot though. Like I like it a lot, but
yeah.
just those little things to make her pop a little bit more and get rid of that foreground foliage. Um, damn, dude, that wig though. Damn. It's so good.
I really love the art direction of this photo. I
Yes.
think it's
Mhm.
really worked for me, especially and like honestly, I don't even like care if like everything is like Photoshop or not, because I can tell what's your idea here right off the bat, and I really appreciate this photo so much because it really looks so like fancy looking, and I can definitely can like see what you're trying to say with this photo. Probably the thing that you can add up to make this photo even works even better is probably on how you control your light. I think if you're able to like control the lights even like more precisely, I think this photo will look like so good. Yeah, with this art direction, I think I'm pretty sure you can even put this photo on a gallery or something like that, and people will like, "Wow, it's so good," because that direction is really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the narrative is so strong in this one.
Yeah.
There,
It's interesting because like this one I feel like is really being pushed a lot. Like I looked at the settings of the file. It's f2.8, uh,
Hmm.
1/20th of a second, ISO
Hmm.
3200.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it was really being pushed.
Yeah.
mhm. So yeah, I think if you're somehow able to control how you do your lights, I think this will look so amazing.
Yeah. It's already a beautiful shot. I'm super impressed, especially by those special effects that you added. Like, damn.
This is like one of those gems that can be polished to be like a beautiful diamond kind of thing, but kind of photo.
Yes.
So you're already there. Just a little bit more.
Huh.
More narrative shots. People live for this.
Huh. This is really
Good.
weird. Um, apparently the video froze for everyone, but the audio is
Wait,
still
what?
coming through, which is funny. Let me see
The
if
audio
Oh,
is more
really?
important, I guess.
let me see if it's switched over if things are going just fine. Um,
But
oh,
at least they can hear us. So
yeah. I think I fixed it.
That's
I think I fixed it.
awkward.
I
Oh
think
no, it's working now.
cool. I was like I noticed I'm like we're all frozen, but no one's like start like because I feel like when things do, lots of people are freaking out like it crashed, but okay, we're good now. So
Yay, we're alive again.
yeah, sorry about that little freak out moment. So uh, I was yeah, it was just for whatever reason OBS was being stupid, but we're good now. I had to switch to the next photo and it seemed to have resumed. So sorry about that, Rico. The
Rico's photo was so
fucking great.
awesome it froze the stream.
So,
Damn.
so this next shot is from Russell and
Russell Matthews.
Alf.
Oh,
You want
this
to
photo.
start us off
Yeah,
on
yeah,
this?
yeah,
God,
yeah,
this armor's
yeah.
dope as fuck.
Yeah, I really like the photo. The photo looks so cinematic. I can see the details everywhere. Probably a little nitpick will be just trying to figure out why you focus on the shoulder past not the face. But that's just me.
Yeah, I wonder if that's a
Misfocus.
misfocus. That's what I
Yeah.
feels like to
Uh,
me.
I feel like with this kind of photo, it's okay to have like maybe two f4 or something like that, because the detail is so amazing. It's like there's no point to blur them out, right?
Yeah,
Um, um, with the snow effect thing, since I never really have that much experience like shooting under snow, so I don't really know on how to do them and if it's like a real thing or not. But I feel like it
I,
doesn't really bother me too much.
I think it's actually real in this shot. Like the
Mm-hmm.
reason I say that is because like the snowflakes seem like they have some strong like chromatic aberrations on them, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that would be happening if they weren't like actually in the shot. So
Yeah, there's a thing because I never done that before, so I don't know how snow looks like in a photo in life, but it doesn't really matter because I still love the entire art direction of this photo. Probably a little nitpick will be the blue blurred thing on the background, it probably kind of like it'll throw me a bit too much because it's blue and yellow, and then the cosplayer is also blue. So probably if it's more desaturated, maybe it will look
Yeah,
more
I
better.
totally
Oh, that would
agree.
pop
I would
nicely.
consider trying to desaturate that and kind of match it with background color. I think then it would blend in really well.
Yeah. So yeah, that's for me.
Man, I agree with everything. I really like this shot. I wish the focus was on the helmet. Um, the
Mm-hmm.
only thing I would say, and this is not going to affect anyone's viewing on this, um, on on the stream or even on Facebook, but I feel like the shot's been like super sharpened, and it's like picking up the grain a
Yeah.
little weird. I don't know what's causing that, but I'm pretty sure that's not happening in camera, and that's like something that's happening in post. And I think it might be from over sharpening the image. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what it kind of feels like.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd tone that down a little bit. Um,
Good tip is also to mask out areas that you don't want to have
yeah,
sharpened.
Mm.
because like there's a ton of, I think a fair amount of sharpening in the like background area, and I don't think that needs to be there.
Yeah.
But once again, that's nitpicky, and you're not going to see that on the stream at all, or on Facebook or wherever you're posting this. Pretty much. Um, I really like the snow in this shot. I'm a sucker for snow in photos.
Me
Yeah.
too. This is so
Same. But we don't
good.
have snow over here, so
But you're in California, so
there's no such thing as snow, especially in
I
LA.
was shooting skiing up till last week because we got freak snowstorms. So we're kind of done with snow here in
I'm over
Wisconsin.
snow. Elf, just come to the East Coast for one winter, and you're gonna be like, I hate this.
Oh, okay.
Also when you shoot in it, you realize like how not fun it can be. Like I love snow,
Uh,
but also like man,
Just a lot of
your hands
cold
can get
misery.
so cold so fast.
Yeah, my baby hands freeze pretty fast.
I've got gloves that I specifically use because like I can still use my camera with it fairly
That's
decently.
my problem. I can't shoot gloves. I like too much. But it makes beautiful work, so you just
Yeah,
suffer a bit and then
yeah,
just go.
So probably I'll add a bit more comment about this photo. So this photo really works for the cosplayer especially, but I feel like as a photographer, you can also like do a little bit more, especially with the pose,
hmm
because right now it's basically you're shooting someone with an armor standing there and that's it. I think you as a photographer you can do a little bit more than that, like do maybe something with the hand, or if they have a shield or any props, maybe you can use that too in the photos, because why not? Because you're a photographer, it's your responsibility to tell a story to us. Kind of thing.
Yeah, I kind of wish we could see the arms a bit because it looks like to me they're not there, especially the right arm.
yeah, yeah. I would agree with that. The one thing I do want to say is the color toning in this shot, even though it's subtle, I really like it. It goes well with the kind of snow and the cold feel that is in this shot.
Hmm.
Any final thoughts on this one? Move on to the next.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good.
Let's move on to this next one from Sarah.
So close,
So, oh yeah,
so close.
should
So
have
close.
should have just switched it up so LP would just have all the fate
I
shots. I don't know.
Girl.
It's to the point where like man, like I'm just like oh yeah, this is a fate shot. I didn't even think about that.
it's all right.
Um, I the very first feeling I get about this shot is I dig the color toning on this shot, and you people on the stream may be like color toning looks like ass on this photo. God, because for whatever reason,
Oh God, what
Facebook's
is it?
color profile
Oh
makes this photo look
no,
awful.
so bad.
It's got like a really nice purple tone in like the lower right and kind of like a peachy tone or the lower left has this purple tone, the upper right's got this peachy tone, and it just looks like poop on the Facebook stream. So I don't know why that is a thing. I'm sorry about that.
The Facebook thing.
Yeah.
Thanks, Facebook.
Yeah. So yeah, that's awful. But let's ignore that for now. I really like the colors in this though. I wish the shot was just a teeny bit wider. I like her pose, but like it's a bit odd having her like her leg is popped up like that, and it's the framing is cut off so much that like it almost looks like her leg can be resting on the bottom of the frame. Like
Yeah.
it kind of just gives a weird visual effect with her leg resting there. Like it almost makes it look like she's literally that leg is resting on the ground instead of up in the air like it is. And I also feel like the skirt flip, is that a skirt? I almost wanted to say cape, but I don't know.
Butt skirt.
Yeah, butt skirt. Yeah. I feel like it's a bit too high in this shot. Like I'm fine with seeing a bit of motion in this, but like, man, that's super high.
Yeah. It's like if it was one more click, and
Yeah.
then it would have been a little lower. Yeah.
But I just like butt cape.
But
It is a butt cape.
Fate. I don't. So, Elf, can we get your fate related opinions on this?
I think, I mean, honestly, in this photo, there's nothing too much to be discussed because basically it's a nice portrait of Ishtar, and well, that's it basically. But probably a comment will be more like a nitpicky thing. I'll say same thing as at like what you said about the leg. Probably it's good if it's zoomed out a bit more, because right now it kind of, because it cropped like really like same as the leg, so it almost feels like she's actually kneeling down kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like she's resting her knee on a stool or something.
Yeah, something like that. So probably a little bit zoom out will be good, and for cape flip or butt flip, it's not butt flip, it's
Butt flip.
Whoa, what the hell is butt flip?
Nope, it's a butt flip from now on.
Yeah, for script one, yeah, probably if you take a couple of more alternative, maybe you can actually try to
Composite.
find, yeah, try to find which one is like perfectly, because since right now the shape is look like a that kind of curve, maybe if there's like a more like a different kind of curve, maybe it'll work better, and it'll actually add a guiding line to the photo or to the butt, whatever. So,
I don't
yeah,
know if this was. Oh, sorry. Continue.
I don't know, that's all.
I don't know if this was brought up already, and I just like completely missed it. But I wish the photo was in focus.
Yeah.
Like, it seems it's blurred. The whole thing is.
So, I was
blurry
curious because
to
I was looking at
me.
because it looks flashed to me.
Right.
And
Like, it looks like
if
it's
you're
in a
gonna
studio
strobe,
setting.
if you're gonna strobe this, like I feel like you don't have much of an excuse to misfocus like that. Like this shot,
Right.
there's no depth of field in the shot. Like it was, but like the quick looking at this is a Digital Rebel or a T4i and 50 millimeter at 2.5, and
Yeah.
like, man, shoot this at like f4, f5.6 if you're using strobes. Like, just get everything tack sharp if you're gonna be shooting studio like this.
And this is another nitpicky thing, which kind of reflects back on what we were saying earlier. When you're using strobes, is like strobes pick up, like flaws a lot easier. And in this case, it's the wrinkly butt skirt. Those wrinkles are pretty intense. That's nitpicky, but wrinkly costumes are not fun. So to make sure that that's ironed out or steamed out or something before the shoot would be good too.
So probably just a bit careful with the prop because it's pretty white down there. It's like so white. So probably some people will focus their eyes to the prop instead of the
Mm-hmm.
eyes. So I think you can just cut it down just a bit, so it's not that.
Yeah, just have it a little less bright.
Yeah. Oh, just tilting it forward a little bit. I think it's because the bottom is tipped up more. It's catching that light. So if it was just tilted,
Oh,
if she,
gotcha.
you see what I mean? If she had tilted it more back, it wouldn't have had that reflection.
I'm trying to think. I really like her pose in this shot, but I feel like she's just a bit too straight up and down for me. Like I'd like just kind of have her like
A booty tooch.
a booty toot, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, and then
booty
like
tooch?
her chest going out a little bit, just to create more of like that S curve would have been really.
I don't know what
I can say these things because I'm a female.
booty
It's fine,
toot.
you guys.
What?
Booty tooch.
Okay, I
Okay.
still don't get that, but I totally heard booty toot.
I
and
hear
was-
it all the time. People were like, "Can you like do the booty tooch?" Which means just like stick your butt out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So probably with this photo,
butt
probably
capes, booty
yeah.
tooches, it's fine.
probably with this photo, probably like butt out and maybe like shoulder a bit back too, so it will create that curve, I guess.
Yeah. Basically, feel really uncomfortable, but it's fine because it'll look great.
Also, maybe with the right hand holding the arrow.
Mhm.
Probably if you can change
Bring it
that
out more.
like white out more, so I can see
Yeah.
more of the hand. It could
Oh,
be
it's an
better.
arrow. Oh,
Learn something new every day.
I thought it was a sword. Or
Learning
something.
that's an arrow. Learning what a booty tooch is. So learning that.
guys.
Okay, let's keep going. We got 2 more shots to go.
Yeah.
So next one is from A Piece of Light. Sarah, why don't you take us off?
Let's do it. So right off the bat, I really excuse me. I like the color grading. Sorry, the color grading for this. I feel like Utsav has really like stepped up his game with his color grading lately because he's submitted like quite a few photos from what I can remember.
I think yeah.
Almost every time I want to say. So it's cool to see your stuff just improve every time. That being said, though, I like the thought behind making the water fountain thingy more blue, but I think the blue was taken a little bit too far and it feels unnatural. So I think just toning down that a bit. And also, I'm not quite sure how you did it, but I noticed that I can see the edge very clearly along those rocks, and it's almost missed also by like her shoulder. So the coloration is like, and by her hair. It's a little, I don't know what's going on over here. It's a little sloppy. So just to be like, if you're gonna do like targeted areas with different coloring, to make sure that that's super clean, because it is really obvious when I'll see like in the plant on the right, I see that there's a whole patch of like gray where it was completely missed. And it's bleeding over onto the leaf and stuff. So
don't be afraid to feather that a little bit. And I would also really recommend trying in Photoshop using like the refine edge or select and mask tools. They're gonna do a great job at getting, because like this is the kind of stuff where like you don't need it to actually be all that clean, but you're going to notice if it's a hard line.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, using the smart radius is actually pretty nice too, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
On the refine edge. You can also use your brush to be, have more feather, and you can just brush it out using masking tool.
I do think though, like considering that blue up there, what it is, I think I'd like it to be a little less saturated though. It feels a bit strong for me. It gives me that.
It's a little too much.
It gives me that like that color of like a pool, like when the bottom of the pool is like a super blue, and like it makes me feel like, and maybe this is just personal connection, that like water should be like chlorinated, like it can't be like naturally that way, so like it's probably like in a pool and it's chlorinated, so like it just makes it feel a little bit differently about the shot.
But I like where the direction is going, though. It's really it fits Azura's character really well because she's like she's a character from Fire Emblem Fates, and she like dances on water, and it's really cool. And so I think it fits her perfectly. It's just a little too saturated.
Mm-hmm. I really like the overall tone. The skin, the lights, and everything looks nice. Maybe for me, maybe a bit like turn down the highlights a bit from her costume.
Yeah, those whites are pretty
Just,
bright.
just a tiny bit, not too much. And probably a little bit more like head space. I think it will be nice because it's really on the edge of the frame. Because yeah, it's just my thing. I don't really like to have like that really short face on the head.
I'd second
Oh,
that.
yeah. A tiny bit.
Mm-hmm. But I like the expression though, and everything looks
Yeah.
great.
I would
Good job.
also maybe burn the rocks just a little bit too.
Yeah, so she pops a little more.
Yeah, just a little
Yeah, I
bit,
think that'd
just
be
a little
nice.
bit.
Nothing crazy. Yeah. It's nice though.
Yeah, I really like the overall mood. It feels very, I mean, it's just vibrant and kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then with this, we are on to the last photo of the night. This one's from Wen, and Alf, why don't you take us home on this one?
I'm gonna take you guys home, okay? Come back from LA.
Yeah.
All right. Well, see here. So bright and vibrant. Probably the first. Because it's so bright and vibrant, I think that's kind of like throws me off. Um, I think the highlights can be reduced a bit, and then I just feel like the yellow on the background, I mean on the leaves, is also a bit too much. I feel like as something as easy as reducing the highlights on the photo, minus the face, I think it should make the photo even better, I think.
I like how soft the shot is. I agree on the highlights. I think what is bothering me, and I'd like to see like her face being so straight onto the camera and her body also being so straight on, just because of how bright it is too. I feel like you kind of lose the separation of where her chin is compared to her neck, and I
Yeah.
think that's bothering me honestly a lot in this shot. Because like it's blending in so
You
much, I
lose her
feel like
neck.
yeah, I feel like you just completely lose that, and she kind of gets like this, uh, not ultra flattering look.
I feel like they were like the aesthetic that they were trying to go for is like what I like to like kind of like what Elcam does when he does like those really like soft like Asia editing color grading, and he like
What's
bring
that Asia editing?
like when you punch out like the shadows and the dark, so there's like not a lot of contrast, but like the colors are like really soft, like kind of like I don't
It's
mind it
it's
very
hard to
well.
explain. Like it's one of those things where like I know it when I see it, but I don't know how to explain it because I feel like if I knew how to explain it, I'd
Yeah.
also know how to do it, and I don't know how to do it.
Hey.
But yeah, a lot of photographers in China, especially, I've noticed, like on Flickr and stuff, they go for this kind of look, and I feel like that's what they were trying to go for. But I think because the highlights are just they're so harsh, like they're just so bright, it's not really working, and it's also just striking that delicate balance of like bringing shadows in to give like dimension, but not to like make it like so contrasty that you're like, oh, but I still wanted that soft look. Um, so I think here it's just kind of like some dodging and burning would help a bit with this.
I, two thoughts on this. One of them is the expression. I don't know, like I don't think it's totally off, but there's something about her expression that feels like a little bit off to me, and I can't put my finger on it.
Hmm.
Perhaps is her she looks a little bit like questioning, I would say.
Hmm.
Um, and then the other thing is, I feel like I this shot to me is begging for some foreground elements in it. Um,
Hmm.
she's got like this big dandelion, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, and I'd love to see her more among the plants, like to have
Oh, that'd be really
to have
cool.
some like the foliage come in front of her and that be bokeh out along with the background. I think could be a
Hmm.
really good look for this.
Yeah, I think that'd be really nice.
I'm gonna assume this is taken in a con, right?
I do not know that.
Based on her hand, there's some sort of like tag or something like that.
Yeah,
But
I would assume this is a con photo, but I can't confirm that or not.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, based on that tag, but if that's part of caution, though, for that. But I feel like there's always like an angle to fix all the backlights or like because right now the lights kind of like all over the place. So I think if they can actually change the direction when they're shooting, maybe instead of having that as a background, maybe have that on the side instead. Maybe it's actually gonna make the photo works better. So yeah, just usually just simply move back a bit or just change your angle. It actually gonna make everything different and probably even works better too. Something as simple as that. Yeah.
When says Swamp Con, what? I'm guessing it had to have been in Florida.
It's like it has to be Florida. Who? Where?
Swamp
Where
Con.
else would you call it Swamp Con?
But that's an interesting name.
I mean, it's so humid down there.
And
But
we
yeah,
any final thoughts on this one?
I'm
No.
good. Hmm.
Cool. I will switch to this view and awesome. Thank you everyone who submitted this week. Hope you guys all learned something or we helped in some way because otherwise that would be a bummer. um, uh, if y- if you decide to take any of our feedback and re-edit a shot and send it, make sure that you like tag us or send it to us because we love seeing that. Like it's just super awesome seeing people like take our feedback. We love hearing that. Um,
Yeah, someone from last time tagged us, talking about like the saber photo that we had, where they got kicked out of the library
Oh
or
wow.
something. Um, and they re-edited it, and it looks really nice. We enjoy
um,
that stuff.
and I was gonna say, Lou commented that he must have missed his photo. We got an abundance of submissions for this one, so I pushed the extra photos that we got. I pushed on to the next critique, which I might as well announce it now, is going to be May 10th, and it's going to be with Mason Hikari, or
Oh, Mason
No,
Hikari.
yeah, so he'll be
our
joining
boy
us
Neil.
on the next episode on May 10th. So mark your calendars.
Mark your
um,
calendar,
Yay!
guys.
um, also, if you want to submit now and make sure your shots get in, the website to visit first is submissions.vontography.com. If you have trouble using that, feel free to just like direct message me and I'll get your photo in. Um, it's a lot easier to do it if you submit it via that website though. So that would be my preference. But if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's my friend coded it, so like it's not necessarily the most functional thing, but like it gets the job done. But lots of people seem to have problems with it from time to time. The other thing I would say is if anyone has feedback on the critique itself, I'd love to hear it. I'm always trying to make these better. So any thoughts on that we could improve our process, or things you'd like to see? I'd love to hear it because I'm always trying to add to these and improve. So, yeah. Thanks again,
Hey.
everyone, for joining, and huge thanks to Elf for joining us tonight.
Seriously.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, it
We
was.
are honored.
Yeah, it was super great having you here tonight.
Yeah.
It's funny. I feel like starting this off. If you asked me who like the top like in the top like couple of people I'd want to have had on as a guest, like you were probably number one, maybe number two. So like I was when you said yes, I was like super
That's
excited.
so real.
Yeah. So
I just usually I just worried if if the way I talk is not really clear because, well, first of all, still my English is still kind of broken and stuff, and I usually talk a bit too fast. So hopefully it's not
I
not
think it's
happening
pretty
today.
For
understandable.
someone who just moved here, you're
Yeah.
A-okay.
Yeah. I think for me, I I wouldn't imagine that would be all that much of a problem. I think probably the only huge problem that I had is there's probably just a little bit of mic cut out in and out, and that was mostly just due to internet signal. I have good internet. I don't have the greatest of internet, so sorry
Yeah,
about
none
that
of us
if the mic was ever cutting in and out. But yeah. Um,
Mm.
so
someone mentioned being able to zoom in on a detail that we're
yeah. I
is that
kind of
doable in Twitch?
yeah, I don't think so. I do that occasionally with I have all these open in Photoshop and I can screen share instead and like zoom in on things and highlight them.
Oh, the
But I
screen share
just
does appear.
yeah,
on
but
here.
like I just don't remember to do it most of the time, and I'd have to be paying attention to like when other people are talking. So
Yeah.
I see.
it makes it sound bad. Like I have to pay attention when you guys are talking. That would be
That's a
terrible.
lot to keep track of, you guys.
Yeah. I think the funny thing is I think if like people watching this back are looking at me and like I'm just like looking all over the place, it's because like in front of me I've got the main photos for critiquing. To the left I've got OBS, which is where I'm doing all the management, and to the right I have Facebook where I'm looking at the chat. So I feel like half the time I'm like, people are probably like, what the hell is he looking at all the time?
A
So
lot.
yeah, so it's just because like I've got to like the setup in order to have everything like visible is ridiculous. But yeah, yeah. Once again, thank you everyone for joining this, and
Thank you,
hope
everyone.
Yeah,
you
thank you.
come back for the next one. Have an
Yeah.
awesome night.
Yeah.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.